All right, welcome to the Bass Hooligan Podcast. This is the first official episode. I'm joined by my co-host, Rune. How you going, man?
Hello. Good. Feels good to start. We had a pretty positive reaction to the first one. Well, the Prime episode. So it's I think this is a good jumping off point. Plus, it's New Year's Eve. So it's we were just talking about that it's a good way to, it's a good start. So first episode going to come out in the new year. So all good. Why don't you tell them what this one's going to be about?
Yeah, so I'm recording this in the Mount Carmel Waco compound right now. So we're looking on the precipice of 2026, which is an apocalyptic year. It's going to be a horrible year just for everyone listening. Just look forward to nothing except for this podcast, because we're going to be diving into everything that is controversial and cool about black metal. So have that to look forward to. But besides that, it's going to be very apocalyptic, and the world might end, just so you know.
Let's hope so. Jesus Christ. Let's
exactly.
Get it over with.
That's kind of my mindset. But this episode, which is officially our first episode about a real topic that we're passionate about, is about the band Absurd, which is basically the number one name in NSBM. That's the big spooky subgenre that everyone's afraid of. But we're here to talk about not only its artistic importance, but its importance to the overall sound and subgenre that we all love, and the band that has basically laid the foundation for not only its aesthetic but its sound. I think we are going to have a really interesting conversation about that band, and there's a lot to dive into. So do you want to just kind of hit it off on your general thoughts about Absurd?
Well, to piggyback off what you just said, this is going to be the first in the series,
correct,
right? So tonight we're going to cover from the band's beginnings and inceptions up to and including the prison era. And then did we say 2 or 3? It'll be 2 or 3 episodes. We're going to do right after prison, and then nowadays up to the multiple band.
Yeah. So
or am I pulling the curtain?
Well, no. We can. So pretty much how I've always thought of the band is you have the pre-prison and then their prison material, which is we can discuss in this episode, and then you have the 2000s era Absurd, which is a whole spectrum of sounds and albums within it, and then we have the split, and there's a whole, and we can also talk about Der I can never remember that. It's like Der Tod und Landschnicht, that band. We can talk about them in that episode, but for now we're going to talk about the band's beginnings, their foundational sound, their crimes, and then kind of lead into how they became one of the most infamous bands in black metal.
So I want to preface everything by saying that NS black metal doesn't need to be a subgenre. Subgenres are fucking stupid. Either you play black metal or you don't. You don't play depressive, suicidal black metal. Those are descriptors, but that shouldn't have anything to do with your black metal. I won't get into semantics and definitions much more than that because it'll just be ridiculous. But Absurd is a black metal band. They are one of the black metal bands that do it right. Now they have pagan influence now, but they started out singing about evil. And black metal at its core should always be evil. In its most rudimentary, foundational sense, it is evil. It's satanic. It's for the devil. Now, I know that there's pagan bands that play black metal, and they don't always. You don't have to sing about it, but that's what it is. I mean, that's just the truth. So Absurd definitely, I think they are probably as influential as bands like Mayhem and Burzum, because you have those two schools of thought or styles, where you have the stuff that's more influenced by thrash and early heavy metal, and then you have like the Burzum side of things, where it's like more atmospheric and a little bit more feeling, maybe not as I don't know, metal brother kind of stuff. And then you have Absurd, which kind of takes from both, but like it's really the thing about Absurd that grabbed me first is it's clunky, but there's so much spirit and feeling behind it. It's so real and it's so raw, and it's 100%, at least I'm speaking about the early stuff right now. It's so raw, and there is so much feeling and power behind it. And like, I'll be 100% honest with you, when I got the early stuff, I kind of like disregarded it, because it was like, this is fucking retarded, man. What the fuck is this? And then like years went by, I was tape trading, and Facta Lacunter, I'm gonna fuck that word up, came out, and I got that in a tape trade, because I was like, I'm gonna give him another shot. And the guy I was trading with was like, you really need to revisit Absurd, because it's the shit. So I listened to that, and it blew my well, okay, again, let me be honest, I thought it was retarded. I heard because some of the stuff is very rudimentary sounding, it's very basic, but the more you listen to it, it's so catchy, and at its foundation, it's really good music. And the youth, obviously they're young, but it still shows the dedication. We talked about that last episode. The dedication is there, and they make good music. It's feeling, and I don't care if it's technically proficient. It's all emotion. It's 100% emotion, and that's where the Burzum part comes in. I'm not even sure if they were fully influenced by Burzum when they first started. It's possible. Someone, I'm sure, will correct me if I'm wrong, but it's got this. It gives me the same feelings. It comes from the same place. So like, they weren't, they were playing like pagan style black metal, and it's really clunky, but it's so full of pride, and it just makes you feel proud of things when you listen to it. I don't want to go too far, because we are on YouTube, but like, it's prideful music, and it makes you keep going back to it over and over again. So it's completely infectious.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things that they brought to the if not subgenre, which you mentioned, of NSBM, but the overall genre of black metal, is that kind of rack, or that prideful rock and roll element to their music. Which, when you listen to their early stuff, obviously there was a lack of technical proficiency. It's very rudimentary, whereas you have certain early black metal bands, which you can tell that they were practicing Metallica songs. So there was an element of, okay, so they're actually playing metal. There is a studiousness to some of that music. But with Absurd, it almost feels like, or sounds like, that they picked up a guitar like 2 weeks prior to recording some of their music. But that drive to produce this music that almost, I mentioned it last time, it was their ambition outstepped their ability, but it comes through. And when you have kind of that material that is so just prideful, has all those pagan elements that we mentioned, it has that almost, I call it like, it's nationalist nursery rhyme music, which is so no one else was doing that at the time. So it can come off as, so think about it in the context of when they were doing this, it could have been totally panned and stupid, but they had a they had an idea, they had a goal, they had this vision for this band that, okay, we're not the most talented musicians, but we have a certain, we have a message that we want to convey within our music. And how are we going to do that? Whether it's lyrically, whether it's musically, because when you listen to their actual songs, how they built up their melodies, how they recorded, how they made their song structures, it's very rooted in rock and roll. And so some of that is obviously it's inspired, and we can get into this later. It's Misfits, it's Screwdriver, it's Instoof, it's all these early rack and punk bands, but then they're infusing black metal into it, which for that time was unheard of and is so genius, because for a bunch of teenagers to think of combining all those elements and moving forward with a band like this is so, I think it's groundbreaking, and it's something that has influenced probably over 1,000 plus bands, you know, in the 30 plus years that it's been around.
Yeah, I think ambitious is a really good word that you use to describe them. That's a good one, because and it's ambitious for the same reasons that, like you just said, like no one was really doing that. But I don't think they started out with the idea of like, hey, let's do something that no one else is doing. I think you can tell they're playing what they want to, because they've got the punk influence and the RAC stuff, and you know, and because it goes, like, the punk part probably goes back to the thing where it does sound like they just got their instruments. So, you know, it's really, if you know how to make a power chord, you can play punk, you know, I mean, and so they're doing that. But man, there's some other stuff going on that you can tell they're experimenting with, like the single note stuff, even on the early demos and rehearsals, like God's Death and Death from the Forest. Like, that's got some of those same songs that ended up on those later on albums, like Gates of Heaven and Vampire and stuff. Like, those are great songs, and that's on their first demo in '92. So, and I mean, obviously those songs just continued to get better and better as far as quality goes, and they peaked at on Facta. But they were doing the single note stuff, and it was sloppy, but man, that's the best part of that stuff, is how sloppy it is, because there's so much soul in it, and there's so much feeling in it, you know. And I went back after, like, okay, so normally if I hate something and then I, like, it's either I'm either gonna hate it forever, like vehemently, or I'm gonna go back to it and it's gonna be something I'll love for the rest of my life. And that's kind of how it was with Absurd. Like, I hated them so much in tape trading, and so I was like, this is fucking garbage, dude. But, like, as it went on, I was like, man, it actually is really good, you know. And you have to, even the songs that are so simple, like you said, it sounds like nationalist nursery rhymes. I've never thought of it that way, but it kind of what it feels like. It's very A-B, you know, rhyme schemes and music. The music is very simple, you know, chorus, verse. There's nothing crazy. But it's rock and roll at its core. It's rock music. And that's probably where the catchiness comes into. You know, you think black metal now, it doesn't always have to repeat riffs. It doesn't always have to follow song structures. But those songs really did. And they're good songs. Like, you know, they've redone them now. But you could take a modern, you know, a very talented band that's, you know, technically proficient and play those songs, and they'll still be really good, catchy songs. They won't have anywhere near the power and the feeling that the originals will, or the way Absurd did it, but they're just good songs, you know. And that just continued. They just kept on growing from there, and I'm glad they kept going, you know. Like, even during, and I mean, the fact that they're recording and doing that stuff in prison is pretty fucking impressive. Too.
There's so many different iterations of this band, which is something that I find personally endlessly fascinating, is that under this umbrella of Absurd, you have so many different styles, but within that, they've always somewhat retained that original energy. You know, how I mentioned earlier, is that it's that sing-song, almost nursery rhyme song structure that it might sound juvenile, but that's a part of it that is so, it lends to the catchiness of this music. There's a reason why Morning Soul has been covered by, every single NSBM band under the sun, because it's such a catchy song. It's basically just it's 3 chords played over and over again with an amazing chorus, and I think that when you think about like what other band just in black metal in general has choruses, like not many of them do. So I think that's kind of what has lended to Absurd's longevity, and part of the reason why I wanted to cover them is that they obviously have a reputation that comes behind their legacy. There is a black metal murder that is associated with Absurd. It's the forgotten one because the Euronymous and Vard killings have eclipsed it in the general zeitgeist of black metal and the mainstream and the whole world of true crime, whatever, all that. But if you go back, we were talking about it in our Lords of Chaos episode. It is a foundational moment in black metal because you have this band of teenagers that were making this music, and they basically had this Punisher fan, for lack of a better term, that they just honestly, I've looked into it. From what I can gather, it was just a kid that was a hanger-on. They didn't think was cool, and so they lured him out to the woods and murdered him, which is a horrible crime. They even went so far as to put his tombstone on a demo, which
that's the most base thing ever. Like I think that's probably one of the most that was like the most extreme thing, and had to have been the most extreme thing in black metal.
It still might be. It still might be.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, because anybody else that's done anything like that, it's been kind of pretending to be that. Well, what about was it Dawn of the Blackhearts with Mayhem? That's with where it's got dead suicide picture. That's technically a bootleg though.
I was going to bring that up. So there is a different intention behind that. Euronymous did not murder dead.
Right.
So
and he was trying to make money.
These guys killed a Punisher and put his fucking tombstone on a demo because he was so cringe to be around. Think about that.
Like, God, we hate this fucking kid so much, and so fuck him. And then this is our new tape, and check it out.
Yeah, I mean that's abhorrent behavior. Obviously, we do not endorse that, but to introduce that into the overall story of if black metal is a canon, that is a very iconic event. Because I don't think anyone else has really gone that far, which nor should people go that far. But it is something that, they did it. Obviously, they were at some point proud of it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have put that on a demo cover, which is still widely circulated.
Yeah, I mean that's it's got their classic songs on it too, like Thuringian Pagan Madness. Well, that's what made up the most of the first part.
Exactly.
In fact, it's got Werewolf, Gates of Heaven, Peston's Eternal Winter, and Morning Soul. I mean that's a quintessential Absurd with the quintessential.
If you want to talk about if you want to boil Absurd down to a series of songs, then that's it. Like those are their hits.
Yeah. With that cover, with that action on it, you know what I mean? Like it's like that. That's it. If someone was like, tell me something to listen to that kind of brings out what this band is, then it's that tape. It's Thuringian.
So you want to talk about like a statement for a band? That's cementing, and then they are adults well into they might even be in their 50s now at this point, but that's still, those songs that they wrote when they were teenagers are still defining their musical output, which just shows that I think the thing with black metal is raw teenage ambition, aggression, and musical ideas without the tainted. It's almost like the more you learn about playing an instrument, the more it kind of holds you back, because when you are young, you're learning instrument, you're learning how to play, you're introduced to all these different ideas, you have these different ideas, you have nothing holding you back. But the more you learn, the more technically proficient you become. It almost confines you to a specific box. Just, me playing, black metal, like, for example, I know the black metal chord structures. I know what sounds good in a black metal song, but they had no idea. So they were inventing their own world. And within that, they did invent a whole new style, a whole new sound, which honestly is kind of hard to replicate. Like, there aren't many bands that try to sound like Absurd, because it would probably sound bad. But to those guys, that's what they kind of grinded their teeth on, is they I don't know, they obviously become more technically proficient when you listen to the later records, but they still have that basic, quote, absurd sound, which I think is so foundational to what these guys are about. And so I think when something that I've always been fascinated with this band, where did this come from? So obviously this didn't come out of nowhere. There were bands previously that were playing with a more nationalist, more prideful sound, but it wasn't in black metal. It was in the rock against communism subgenre. You had, or genre, I guess. You had Screwdriver, you had Instuf, which is a big band for them. I don't know if Mistreat was an influence for these guys. They definitely were around in kind of that 90s thing.
Mm-hmm. Were they around back then? I believe they
were. Kind of don't quote me on this, but I just listening to early Mistreat stuff, I would assume that it might have been because, Germany in the 90s. I don't know how.
They started in 88 of all years.
88.
Mistreat began in Finland in 1988.
I don't know how widely circulated that music was. Obviously, they were ingratiated with that scene. But they obviously heard that type of, rock against communism, that more prideful stuff, and they inserted it into black metal, which I think is so foundational for a lot of the stuff we like today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I need to just say again, like, I think, like, one of my top black metal vocalists, if not my favorite black metal vocalist ever, is probably Sebastian, who goes by, however many other names in Absurd, but like, he sang on that early stuff, and it's got that. It's kind of like with Varg and Burzum, like, it when you hear it. There's like this weird, like, I don't know, almost like a throaty kind of. It's a terrible word to I can't really place it, but the way his vocals are, they're screechy, but they're kind of like croaky. I don't know. There's no one sings like that at all, and it was always good. And when he sang on the later stuff too, it's still just as good. It's I don't know. Like, ever since I heard it and it clicked, it was like that. That's the vocals. That's to me that's the best Absurd vocals, But as far as the influences and that stuff, I mean, it's like I said before, it's catchy music, and they were kids, so they're listening to catchy stuff. The songs they covered on Enketten are, they covered those.
They covered the Misfits.
They covered the Misfits and Ultima Thule.
I was gonna say
they covered. They covered. What's that? Is it the Animals that did? There you go. Yeah. They covered. Not. Is it the Animals?
Yeah, the Animals. It's the Animals.
House of the Rising Sun. Yeah. So like, and like, they had that one person. Yeah. There you go. They had that. They had like that session guy in. I think he was only on the prison stuff. So it's probably just some kid they knew that was also into music and could play and was also in the prison that they're in. And like that's like my first, when you start guitar lessons, like that's my first guitar song is and you can play it on any instrument, so
it's Fisher Price. It's Fisher Price Black Metal.
That song. Yeah. Yes, exactly. That song is Fisher Price. It's like Fisher Price. It's a
doesn't
Fisher
mean
Price
it's
song.
bad.
So like, but no, that song fucking rules. Their version of because Sebastian's singing it, and it's so good. And but I don't know. I think it's just what they were listening to. They were listening to anything you listen to, any music you're listening to as a person is going to influence you. And when you're young, and you're going to listen to back then, people didn't just sit around listening to Velez all day or Gore Grind all day, so you have nothing but, like, this tunnel. Like, you have tastes. So, like, you've seen the pictures of them. They're wearing, like, Deicide shirts and stuff, so they're listening to brutal stuff, but they're also listening to... that's how I found out about Ultima Thule, is through Absurd. I was like, who the fuck... That song fucking rules. So I looked them up, and I'm like, man, that's great. I knew of some RAC stuff, but a lot of that European and Scandinavian stuff, that wasn't... You couldn't really get it here. It was impossible to find. You could get it through tape trading, but that was a different set of people that I wasn't trading with.
It's its own own scene.
That's why I think... Yeah, like it's probably easier to get in Europe for them, because the best stuff is going to be coming from Europe anyway for obvious reasons. But here in the States,
Blue Eyed Devils.
You had stuff like Blue Eyed Devils,
Angry
Screwdriver was here. Yeah, all that stuff was around, but like I didn't really know Ultima Thule, but because it wasn't in my scene, I wasn't into punk, but I knew the Misfits because I love Danzig, so, but I think it's just what they listen to and that influenced them. But there's still some magic there to Absurd that you can't, it's just a formula. I don't know if it's because of, it's one of those things where some bands are just magic, and if you take away something, it's not the same. With that band, there's always some magic involved.
Yeah, there's an aura of mystery to them, which is what I think is lended to their legacy, is because you can't pinpoint a single band that they got their sound from, because there is none. Right. They invented their own kind of cascading genre. It's something that I think is, looking back on it, you have the ability now in 2025 going into 2026 of looking back on 30 plus years of musical expression that has come since they've released these albums. And I think part of what has lended to their legacy is not being able to pinpoint a specific band that has influenced them, let's say. So you mentioned Burzum earlier. Okay, Burzum is very much in tune with the black metal sound of the time. But I don't know if they were listening to Burzum. They might have been in those tape trading circles, but for them to, because if you listen, like perfect example, and this is a good segue into Out of the Dungeon, which is almost an hour long fucking demo. It's crazy that, so these guys, for them to, what is it, like 48 minutes or something? I don't know what the official
official's 42:56, about 43 minutes. Depending on which version, which tape, there may be some extra feedback here and there, but it's around 43 minutes. That's still damn close to an hour. Metal albums generally don't need to be longer than about 30 minutes long, unless they're going to grab you. That's the Slayer rule. If it can be a full length at 28 minutes. Because that's how long Rain and Blood is.
Yeah, that's a perfect litmus test for the, and we can get into this eventually down the road, talking about Slayer, because I think you mentioned on our Prime episode that there is a specific cutoff point with Slayer, which I agree.
Absolutely,
that band is amazing, but there is a certain point where they become poser and false as hell. So
oh yeah.
we that is perfect. Yeah, you can have so there are full length foundational metal records that are 30 minutes long, and these guys decide to record and release a 42-minute demo that has some of the most raw fucking recordings ever known to man. But
yeah, and it's 2 years. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's 2 years after they started.
Exactly.
That came out in 1994.
All that material, and they were able to. What I think is so impressive about it is that every single element, even though it is super raw, you can still discern every element on that. The guitar, the drums, the vocals, the bass. If it is there, you can't really. The bass is there somewhere, but all the different elements are present and there while maintaining that extremely raw demo sound. And they basically forged their own, musical world within that demo. And that has some of the cool, that I was thinking about this today when I was listening to it again. That art, that cover, the Out of the Dungeon cover art, that demon.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's top 10 demo art ever for me. It's so cool with the runes. It's perfect. Yeah. And they knocked it out of the park with their their logo has persisted. That absurd font, they're still using that font to this day. I don't know who designed that specific font, because that was when they were using the pentagram with the upside down cross, because then they later turned it into the iron cross with the Thor's hammer. But they still have that classic absurd logo font. So to nail it that early on in your career means that they had a specific vision for this band, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, that's the first one I got. Was Out of the Dungeon, and the guy I got it from, he photocopied the cover for me. So I saw the art and I was like, this is fucking awesome. And you can tell, like, it's copy and paste on the demo kind of looking, but like I'm pretty sure it's hand drawn, like, on the demo. But it's got that font, that logo, the classic logo with the inverted cross and the pentagram, and then but it's got the runes too. So it's just, I don't know, everything about and I'm looking at it right now. It's so awesome. Simple, but it's perfect. And it kind of speaks to what you were saying earlier about the mysticism, because it's got this sick logo, and it's not a crazy, like, it wasn't the generic, like, black and white black metal covers, like Dark Throne. Well, Dark Throne kind of started that, but even now, like, black and white cover with mostly black with white text, that was a mostly white cover, or like, and it's, I don't know, it's and it's got, like you said, the weird fucking songs, like you look at the song titles and going into it and you don't know what it is. Like, there's a song called Green Heart, and then there's Bows, and I don't know what that translates to. Let me see what that means, but like, it may not mean anything. That is a good point, so. That for it to be a white album or a white demo cover is a immediate statement of, this is different than all other black metal that's being released. It sticks out. Yeah, it sticks out. And Bows translates into,
is it heart? Evil. Yeah. Well, because there's Bo's Uncles. What there that's a band, so I don't know if that was some sort of reference.
I don't know that band.
There's some Rack adjacent band.
Yeah, but that might have been where they. But I mean, that is so unnecessarily long, looking at it from an outsider. But when you listen to it, it's so great. And some people think it's unlistenable. I mean, I used to, but now it's great. Like, I love all that old stuff, and even like they released those. What are those collections called? Life Beyond the Grave, 92 to 94. Like, that's a double damn album. It's like a double CD. And there's two different versions. I think the only difference is like one track, and it's probably because of German authorities didn't like a song title. But like,
dude, how impressive is it that we can talk about this but it is fascinating that Darker Than Black is allowed to operate under German rule. So,
well, yeah, that's another. We'll get into that later. But like, so that Life Beyond the Grave, 92 to 94. each disc is over an hour long. The disc 2 is an hour and 15 minutes long almost. That's the that's maxing out a CD. And it's got like those you've heard that stuff, right?
I don't have them physically, but I have digital versions of them.
I think I have doubles. And
I think I have the full Absurd discography on my laptop, like everything.
But like, so you've heard it, but like, man, there's some crazy songs on there. There's like the version of Vampire on there. I think it's Vampire, but it just sounds like they're in a fucking room. I'm picturing them just being in somebody's basement. It says it's a live track, but it sounds like a basement, and it's like 4 people and those dudes playing that song, and that's what it puts in my head, like going to like house noise shows in the 90s and early 2000s, where it's just like some noisy power electronics band or a noise band in a basement. There's 4 nerds, including myself, standing around a table, but everyone's so into it. That's what, like, they say these songs are live, but like, who the hell are they playing for?
No, there are no concerts. It's literally just them in a room. Like you said, there might be a friend or two, but there's no concerts for this type of stuff. I mean, Absurd didn't have any kind of fan base, from what I can tell, up until... I didn't even think like Absurd played live shows up until after they were an entity following their crimes and stuff. Nothing that I can tell.
That's it was early. Oh yeah, it was after the crimes, I'm sure. There could have been some private shows, some like in Germany, but who knows? I mean, technically,
they weren't a controversial band. No, like
right,
that's the other thing we have to get into, is that when they were releasing these demos, they were not really like a quote NSBM band. They were just a bunch of kids releasing music that they wanted to push the boundary. I think following their incarceration is when they leaned more into the nationalistic ideology, imagery, whatever you want to say. They definitely were aware of their media clout, and I don't know if being incarcerated led to their embracing the more nationalist side of things. It might have always been there, and it probably was, but I think they definitely saw an opportunity to highlight something in their music that was always there, but could be embraced and also pushed forward, because NSBM was not a sub-genre. Literally, it might not even be a real subgenre. It's something that people call bands. And obviously with Absurd being one of the mainstay, if not foundational bands within that, they might not have been aware that they were creating a style of music with what they were doing, but they definitely have done that in the years following. So that's something I want to kind of like dive deep into and be like, okay, what it's a chicken or the egg type situation. It was like, okay, so if there was a band doing the whole nationalist black metal thing before Absurd, I'm not aware of it. Were they the ones that invented that?
No, I don't think so. Like that's a good thing to say for the next episode, because they didn't really get in. They didn't really start pushing that stuff into the forefront until after prison, and that's definitely a second era. I think there were definitely bands playing nationalist, or that were nationalists, that were doing black metal before then. But I don't know. I don't think they were aware of it, like you said. I don't think they did it on purpose. It was there, but I don't think they did it on purpose until after prison. We'll have to do some research about that, about who was playing like national. I'm sure we both are fans of it, but like I
guess there was Lord of Evil, maybe, but I don't know if they were aware of Lord of Evil.
That's a good point right there. I was gonna say there were bands playing NS black metal around that time, because it wasn't really known as NS.
Yeah, that
black
was my
metal,
whole point.
Like, as a subgenre, but like the NSBM scene was getting bigger around 94, 95, because Graveland was getting bigger. Velez, No Colors was putting out a lot of good stuff, and but let's see here. Let's see when. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now. Like, there's Lord of Evil. Lord of Evil was doing stuff in Poland. So is Velez. Those guys were all around, and they definitely held those beliefs, and those scenes existed. Because I mean, there's the pictures, and I think it's in Lords of Chaos, where it's like. I don't know if Darkin's in it, but it's definitely like Hendrik Mobus and Capricornus and some other people sitting around a table. Is that picture in
I'd have
Lords
to
of
check,
Chaos?
but yeah, there definitely.
But you know
there
the
definitely were guys
about, right?
in the scene that were embracing that ideology, but for it to kind of come together as a coherent subgenre would come way later. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You were talking about bands that sound like them. Like I think the only band that kind of has given me a very similar feel is the earlier Bill Skinner stuff, and I don't know
Bill
how
Skinner.
to say that correctly.
That's all I've always said.
But he I mean, I guess he's in one of the versions of Absurd now or something, but like. I used to be in touch with that guy years and years ago when he first started, and those first demos, like before he did there's a cutoff point. I hate to say that, but all of his stuff is good, but everything up to a certain point is absolutely essential. I think In Flames of Purification that came out in 2002.
This is For Victory we Ride.
Yeah, that demo, when I got that one, and I think I got that, and maybe, let me look at the cover of this one. I think I got the first two at the same time. For Victory Ride came out in 97, which is crazy. And then, I can't say the second one, Bis Germanian.
Yeah, it has. I think it's
which is something German awake.
The second one that's on here. It's 2 demos.
Yeah, like that is so good. Like those first two are so good. They're the same vibe as Absurd. It's clunky, rudimentary, but it also has a really strong Burzum influence. And he covers.
He covers Absurd on one of these, I believe.
Well, he covers Absurd. He covers Burzum too. Let me.
Look how much I got ripped off. Don't say this out loud.
Oh wow. Yeah, he covers Burzum on the first one For Victory We Ride. It's the last song. He covers Stimmen fra Tarnet, which I can't pronounce, but people know the song. It's but it's that's the only band that comes close as far as feeling, and he was definitely influenced. But I mean, again, same country. So if you're in the underground, Germany is a big country, but we live in the United States, so like allegedly, and we live in gigantic.
Portugal.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Argentina. Yeah.
But it's yeah, like it's a big country, but it's not that big when you're talking about here. Like if you meet someone, you live in Florida, and you meet someone that lives in Seattle, Washington. That's gigantic. You know what I mean? That's a huge drive.
People who live. So I've talked to people who live in Europe, and they're like, oh yeah, like when you bring up someone else who lives in the United States. That might as well be a whole nother continent because we live so far away from each other.
Yeah, and then in the in Europe, well, I mean, in the 90s, when I would go to shows, I used to drive up to 8 hours to go see shows before there was an internet. You know, if I heard about a black metal show or a metal show in general, you know, I'd drive to different states and then just make a weekend out of it. Or a lot of times they're in the middle of the week, so I'd either have to take off work or like miss school, like if I was in college or something, and go see a band, and there'd be like 15 people there. But it's totally worth it. but it's an 8-hour drive to see that. But over there, you can drive for a couple of hours and be in another country, and you can go hang out with these people. Because back then, there was no internet. You couldn't just jump online and say, hey, what's up? I mean, you could write a letter, you could call, but you wanted to hang out, because, like, it was always cool to get new demos and new metal. And, you get a new metal. So imagine, you're in Europe and you meet somebody and they like put out this fucking demo and it's like, holy shit, this guy's on the level. We should jam. And that's how a lot of bands started.
Yeah, there was a cross-pollination for sure with that type of sound.
Which is great.
So you mentioned Bilskiner, and I always forget to lump them in with that early or late 90s black metal sound, but they definitely were there. They were present for it. Yeah. And I think for just those two bands coming out of Germany, it's the term like Schlager. It's like beer drinking music. You like to hang out with your nationalist friends and make songs that you want to sing together in rooms, just hanging out.
Yeah,
and it definitely because there's a different type of black metal that exists. There's black metal that you want to listen to in your room alone, studying it, like the Blaze Birth Hall stuff, which is very. I use the word stern a lot, which is very appropriate with Blaze Birth Hall. It's like you want to study that music. It's very important, and you want to take it seriously, so you want to listen to that with headphones on and take in every aspect of it. But with Absurd or a band like Bilskiner, you want to party with people and drink beer to some of these songs, at least, because it's very prideful, it's nationalist, it's you want to engage with a subculture. It's something that
raise your right arm and
exactly
and
you want to do prideful things. You want to see Kyle to it. You want to wave to your friend Kyle. No, it's a different vibe that all these various subdomains of black metal they give you. So that's what I love about black metal, is that whatever mood you have, there is a specific black metal subgenre for that, or band for that. Like, you want to be depressed, there's Abyss of Hate. You want you can listen to that. If you want to like hang out with your friends and swill a bunch of beer and be like raucous skinheads, you have Absurd. You have Goat Moon for a more contemporary example. You have all these types of bands, or if you want to just be a fucking nerd, you can listen to Nocturnal Mortem. You have all these different types of bands that you can totally affix to whatever mood you're into, which is so cool about black metal. That's why I've been so drawn to it as a genre. It's not just this one thing. It's not just Dark Throne. It's not just Transilvanian Hunger, which I think is the misinterpretation that a lot of normies have of what black metal is. It's not just Gorgoroth. It's so much more than that.
Yeah, I agree. Man, Nocturnal Mortem has one good
Lunar
album.
Poetry or Nechrist?
Fuck no. Nechrist, yeah. Which just so happens to be related to the same subject matter.
I do. So, dude, I'm a big I love Nocturnal Mortem. I'm a big stan of like all their shit. I love the dorky Legend of Zelda shit. I love the nationalist stuff. I love all their shit.
Well, I mean, so the early stuff, I didn't care for it, and I know it suffered. Now this is ironic considering the subject of the episode. The production on the early stuff is bad, but it's not bad the same way as Absurd is. Like Absurd production is bad, but it's great. It's good bad, and you can hear everything, but it's not clear, and a lot of people like it. It just never really really clicked with me. It's not bad music. It's just not the best thing.
It's kind of soupy.
Me. And then
I'll put it. Yeah, it's soupy.
Yeah. Like they're not bad. They're not a bad band. And then Nechrist came out and it was pretty bad too. But man, I got really excited a few years ago. Man, it might be 20 years now. I don't fucking know. But it got remastered, and that version sounds even better. and like the remastered version of Nick Christ. I'm usually not a fan of remasters, but in this case, it actually did it a favor, and it sounds really good. The other stuff might have been remastered, and if it does, I'll go check it out just because you say you like him. But I know there was definitely an era. I've got a friend. He loves that band, and like when they renounced NS,
it was like a stab in the heart, right?
It got. Yeah, it was, and then it was like they put out a fucking. They put out some Pro Shot DVD, and they're wearing these like.
Oh yeah, that's gay. That's gay as hell. Dude. Like
Yeah, I was like, my friend was like, he's like, dude, this is killer. I was like, is it? Like this guy has been into Absurd and shit as long as I have, and he's like, it's so good. I was like,
well, no, modern Nocturnal Mortem is definitely suspect and is pretty. They've tried to appeal to a broader. I'll call them Vakken fans, which they're never going to appeal to that fan base. I don't know why they're trying. They're always going to be like relegated to playing like Steelfest and shit. So I don't know.
I think you nailed it. Like I think that I think they probably grew up and matured, and they want to play different stuff. They changed their beliefs, whatever. They changed their style.
Well, they changed their beliefs. Sorry to interrupt, but I do believe, from what I've looked into Nocturnal Mortem, so they're from Ukraine, right? So obviously that type of stuff is very much accepted there. I think that they wanted to pivot to being a more commercially viable band to play fests, but unfortunately they're always going to have that stigma associated with them, so they're never going to be able to play a normie festival.
Yeah. Once you name the J, you can't really do anything, man. Like once you step over that line, you can't go back. So.
People will never forgive you,
but it's the way it is. Yeah,
so you might as well embrace it.
But like they play that DVD, like it looks really nice, but I'm sure it's like a fest, like you said. It's probably a festival, and it's probably in Ukraine or somewhere a little bit more forgiving. It's definitely
that's the one where they have all the deer antlers, and they're playing with the Viking.
I think so.
They have like orc armor and shit. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I saw that, and I was like, man, what are you doing, dude? Don't get me wrong, like it's very well executed, but that stuff hurts my eyes and my ears the same way like pop metal does, or pop like polished metal. Like it's not the same thing. Like I would rather listen to goat horns or the earlier stuff than listen to this new polished stuff. And like again, I'll go back and revisit it. You're not the only one of my friends that's like all into the new.
Oh no, I'm not all into it. I don't really like it, but I don't hate it.
Well, Oh, I thought you were like you were into
No. I love old Nocturnal Mortem, but
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I need to revisit it. Yeah. I need to revisit it because a lot of my friends, I used to play with a guy in a band that was.
Lunar Poetry is phenomenal. It's an incredible record.
Was that the one before Goat Horns? There's Goat Horns.
Their discography is weird to me because they went like super NS, and then they went like there was like, so the Christ came out. I should look it up on Metallum, but this is just me going off the cuff. So I believe the Christ came out like in between a few, because they had like Twilight Fall and then Lunar Poetry and they all came out within like a succession of each other, but I cannot remember the exact years. But they definitely because then they also had Aryan Terrorism, which I'm sure you're Aryan Terrorism is fucking sick. Crush the Lies. That's the original black metal diss track.
Is that guy in
yeah.
I see. I didn't know that. And the name of the album I was trying to think of is To the Gates of Blasphemous
Fire.
I
have that tape right here. No one can see this, but this is OG cred. Yeah.
Oh wow. Is that on that label? What are they called? It's got got the bullseye logo
with the free Hendrik Mobus on the back.
Yeah. That label's great.
This is the original shit that I got from some guy in Ukraine. See, see, that's the thing. You posers need to come correct. If you have a fucking black metal podcast and you can't just reach for a Nocturnal Mortem demo, you're a fucking poser.
What's the one it's got a Ukrainian title? It's came out in 2004.
I think I might have it. Is it the one with the guy with the armor?
It's the one after Nick Rice.
The guy with the armor.
Yeah, it's got a guy touching grass.
Here. Dude, look. You can't fuck with me, dude. I have...
Yeah.
Dude, that...
Yeah, it's got like I think that... Is that when did they renounce...
I believe so. So just
because they
just for the audience listening, he mentioned, just so you fucking posers know, I was able to reach within arm's distance both things he mentioned. So if you're not able to do that, please do not have a fucking black metal podcast.
Oh yeah, they got I guess their original logo had sun wheels in it, or the second one had sun wheels in it. So they definitely changed it by the time they got to the one. This is the.
I mean, they still have like a bunch of sketchy shit in this one, but I cannot.
Well, Lunar Poetry, it looks like they use the older.
Yeah, they have like 7 different logos.
Yeah, that rules, man. I need to go back and listen to. I'll start.
I can go in my closet and grab the my original The Christ long sleeve. It says like "We declare total war."
Oh man, that fucking rules that you got that. I remember those.
It's on Screen Stars too.
Like, oh man. What else did that guy did a bunch of. They did a split video early on. It was Nocturnal Mortem, Lucificum.
Oh. Yeah.
And Norgard.
Yeah. That I think that's on like BitChute now. I think that got deleted off YouTube.
It says I'm looking on Metal. It says it's over 3 hours, or it's 3 hours. That's fucking crazy. Now that came out in 1997. That's badass, and I don't think that's the one I'm talking about. Like that's not the. There's an early. I know what you're talking about. There is like a fucking sick like not full. It's like a full Nocturnal Mortem set from the 90s. Yeah. Yeah, I think the one that I'm thinking of that is that's pro shot came out in 2011, and it was at a fest in Ukraine. Yeah, I can't pronounce that word. Let's see what the interweb says it is. Oh, it just said it failed. It's Ukrainian though, but it's the pro shot one where they're wearing the silly armor.
2011. I mean, that's like well beyond after they declared themselves.
Yeah, but that early stuff's good, and that's I forgot. Well, I guess Ukraine will eventually come back into the absurd discussion, circling back to the original topic, but because of
Scarred
and stuff, and but yeah, the stuff with absurd, like after Out of the Dungeon, which I guess is technically it's considered an album, but it's a demo. I mean, it's demo quality. And then they did the Deep Dark Forest live. No, not Deep Dark Forest. Have you seen the home video?
I know about it, but I've never seen it. No.
Holy shit, is it fucking awesome, dude. Let me I forget the name of it. Let me see here.
Eternal Winter.
Is it Eternal Winter? I used to have it when I was tape trading. I got it, and it was like all those things, like I think it's on God's Death.
The Metallum just says independent VHS. There's no label.
Yeah, it is. It's independent, but on the early stuff on Absurd, and a lot of that stuff is on the compilation CD we were talking about, where he's just talking.
Oh, and he's saying, dude, one of my favorite aspects about Absurd is that I think on one of the versions of Fac de la Culture, they put their news coverage in the intro.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
It's one of the versions of Fac de la Culture. I don't think it's there's like obviously there's like 3 or 4 different versions of that record, but one of them does have, because it's from the Thrungian Pagan Madness. In that demo, demo/EP, there is like a little clip of their coverage from the news, which is sick.
Crazy. Well, what I was going to say is that that when they're talking, like where he's just talking into the microphone about the song, just saying different stuff about, you know, ravens or whatever. Like in that home video, like he's doing that stuff, but they're just like standing outside and like there's a fire and he's just saying that stuff into the camera, and it sounds goofy, like just like explaining it, but it's so fucking awesome. And then they'll like play the music and then they're just like lip syncing and playing guitar, like not air guitar, they're holding their instruments, but it's so fucking badass. It's like the same vibe as the Immortal Call of the Winter Moon video, but it's like more clunky and it's cool and like it's earnest.
Like it's earnest in an honest,
exactly.
In an honest,
they're not wearing witch hats
in an honest way, because they're not trying to be rock stars. They're just trying to put out a badass video for who knows how many people. It's just going to be circulating in the underground. They're not attempting to be rock stars, you know, which I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely its own thing. And back then, I mean, same thing goes with videos and tape trading and stuff. Like, that was big back then. I always loved live footage. Now you can see anything live. I don't even like going to fucking live shows anymore. But, like, back then, you couldn't see live shows. So seeing some band do that live or on a video was awesome. So like the fact that they did that was kind of, you know, it was, no one else was really definitely not doing that in black metal, I don't think.
Yeah,
but it was, it's kind of childish, but it was good.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
There's kind of like there's a childlike, I'm not going to say eagerness, because that's a negative word in my vernacular, but I'll say earnestness, because when you're starting out making a band, you're hopefully not trying to aspire to be a rock star or have any kind of legacy. You just want to make music because you're driven to it, and I think that's the best. That produces the best results. Because when you start a band with the idea of, oh, I'm going to be a rock star, it always ends in complete disaster. We have so many examples of that, even within black metal, which is so stupid, because black metal in itself, if you're going to play it, you're going to be limited, at least, like, not even speaking commercially, just like, there's going to be a limited appeal to it. So if you're not driven to create this music out of a sincere drive or appreciation for this music, which obviously a band like Absurd does, and they have been rewarded for it because now they're, you know, they have a legacy to them. But in their early years, they were just doing it because they were a bunch of kids that had a vision for a band, which I think is what I really want to. If there's anyone listening to this that is thinking of starting a band, first of all, do not, please. But secondly, if you're going to have a vision and a drive, and be just make the music you want to hear. Don't make the music that you feel like fits into a specific box, because Absurd definitely did not do that. They didn't make music that fit into a specific box. They just made what they wanted to hear, and has since spawned, you know, an entire subgenre within itself, which is, you know, their artistic merits I can go on forever about. Like there's a band called Ice Age, which is I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're kind of like they're like a contemporary, like they were big in like the mid 2000s. They're I think they're from no, I can't remember what country they're from, but they're a European hipster band. Vice covered them a lot, but they got into controversy because in one of their interviews, their main guy, he basically cited Facta Kunter as a foundational record for... I remember that. He cited that record as being very inspiring to them. So if a band like that can listen to your music 20 years removed and get inspiration from, obviously that's an important you made some important music. You know, it's not just, you can't just dismiss it as, oh, they're a bunch of stupid racist murderers, whatever. You can't dismiss their music if people 25 years later are citing them as a influence on their music, or at least like something that they're appreciating. So I think that's pretty interesting. Now, whether or not that's like, you know, you can go. You don't have to like that band Ice Age. I think they're kind of gay, but it was.
Are they from?
Yeah.
From that. It's like post-punk stuff, right?
Yeah.
I like a lot of post-punk, but like stuff like fucking Joy Division, you know. But I can't remember if I liked Ice Age. I know some of my friends that are into good stuff that like I don't think that everything they did was gay. They came out in 2011 though.
I think that just that was just like so I grew up in that whole era and I was automatically like, you are the enemy if you're being covered in
Yeah, I understand. I respect that, but I remember when that happened because they're like they were like on the way up and then like that guy said that and it was like which is like, I mean, fucked up.
I think his name. What was his name? It's like. Hold on 1 second. Look it up. Yeah, what was that guy's name? Elias. Elias.
Elias Binder Ronnenfeld.
So, there was just some. I think it's been like scrubbed. I don't know if you could find it. I think I tried looking up not too long ago, but yeah, he cited Fuck to the Kunter as like a foundational inspiration. Not, I don't know about musically for their band, but just like as a piece of music. He said that was.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. I mean, it's fucking, it's that makes sense. I mean, if you're in a post-punk band, I mean, you could, if you really want to really go on a limb, you could say that that Absurd's got post-punk vibes to it. 'Cause, I mean, it kind of has punk influence. But I mean, there's nothing wrong saying that you know, but the world we live in now, like, I could see Discogs like banning their entire discography because that guy's still in the band, and
here, if anyone listening to this wants to know a deep cut, this is some true deep cut shit. So if anyone likes hardcore, there's a band called the Rival Mob, which was popular from like in like the mid 2000s, probably like 2009 to like 2014, 2015. They were like the best, biggest, like, quote-unquote real hardcore band. So their vocalist, Brendan Radigan, was in kind of an oi band called the Lovely Lads, and they were in they did a compilation where they covered Morning Soul. So if you look up Lovely Lads Morning Soul, there's a badass cover, and he was the perfect vocalist to cover because he's kind of similar to that cadence. It's very raw, and I think he fucked up the lyrics, so the lyrics aren't exactly correct, but the spirit is there, and the production on it is incredible. So if anyone wants to listen to a badass Morning Soul cover, look up Lovely Lads Morning Soul. It's fucking sick.
Why does that guy's name?
Brendan Radigan. He's been in like bands? He's in Magic Circle. He's in that band Sumerlands. He was the vocalist for what was his name? He was the vocalist for that one Doom band. What was it called? Pagan Altar. He was the new vocalist for Pagan Altar. He's also.
That guy covered Morning Soul, and like they're like the darlings of social media and like mainstream media.
Battle Ruins, you know,
all the big metal publications love all those bands. Like, and I'm surprised they didn't. Well, I don't know. Like, if likes, you know, social media likes probably outweighs doing a little bit sketchy. They're very selective on who they decide they you have to be canceled. You did absurd. You did a racism.
Oh my god, you did. Oh my god. No, so it was called the We Breed Ugly tape, which I think was some sort of compilation that was coming around. I just remember when that came out, I was just like, I was impressed. I was like, okay, that's ballsy to do a Morning Soul cover, but.
Dude, that song's so fucking good. So
Lovely Lads, you know what's sick about them? This is some deep lore. They actually did. They did a rip of the Screwdriver security shirt, but it says "Lovely Lads Security" with the rose.
Oh my god! So that guy's he's clearly got like based influences. Yeah. But so speaking of covers, like I you can like this band or not. I fucking like them, but I've known there's a mutual respect going back into the 90s. But I was at Hospital Fest back, God, it was years ago. It was in the before time, like before COVID. It was Bonall, but it was I can't remember the fest, like before that the pandemic.
It was
like,
Hospital Fest.
Like everything gets it was Hospital, but it was I can't remember.
I think
what
it was
so
I have a very.
It was like 2013.
Is it when Bone All cover Absurd?
But yeah, that's what I was getting to. I just can't remember the year. But yeah, I was there and I was with a bunch of friends and Hospital for those you should know who fucking Hospital is, but it's an industrial label, noise label. They do black metal and stuff now. But I have a lot of respect for that label, and they did so they put on Bonall was on the fest for whatever reason. They don't have any releases on that label, but so they're playing. I think they headlined or one of the headliners for the second night. If it was 2 nights, I can't remember. But they're playing. I'm already into it, and everybody's there. I mean, a lot of hipsters like Bonall, but and they're a lot of lefty people were there because it was in New York and everything. But so they didn't say anything. They didn't announce it. They just fucking started playing that song, and oh my god, the entire place fucking erupted, and my right arm was so goddamn sore the next day. Holy shit, I got kicked in the face. It was fucking awesome, dude. And then of course, before I had to fly back home. Before I even got home, people were like, "Oh my god, did you hear what happened? Bonall covered Absurd. Oh my god, it's a racist festival." But dude, there was all kinds of people at that show, and everyone was fucking into it. It went absolutely fucking nuts. That goes back to what you're saying about the music. That song is such a good fucking song, and so many people have covered it. And even people that were not NS and probably are closet Absurd fans because they know what music is, they were going nuts, dude. There were definitely some non-white people that knew what was up that were into that fucking and that because there was no one moshed at that show, but there was moshing to the Absurd, and it was. I mean, I got kicked in the face from somebody fucking crowd surfing.
I remember when that happened because people were. I think that was Hospital Fest 2017, I believe.
That sounds right.
Because I had a couple buddies that went, but I remember they sent me a picture. They were like, "Hey, look at the shirts that Bonall was wearing. It was like a Gontinia Cree shirt or something."
Yeah, yeah. I think he was wearing that, and I forget who else. Everybody, yeah, it was all pretty much NS stuff, I think. Which was just a middle finger.
That was the height of the super. You have to be very sensitive about what you do, because we can touch on this, and I think that can make for an interesting episode about the quote cancel culture within black metal that subsisted within the years, I would say 2010 to present day, give or take. There's a lot of bullshit that has happened that has basically lended to the watering down and pussification of black metal, which I think is unfortunate. But I remember when that happened, my friend sent me a pic. Dude, he's wearing a Gontinia Cree shirt. I was like, hell yeah. And then he was like, dude, they're covering Absurd. I was like, oh shit, that's so sick.
Yeah, I you kind of had a feeling where things were going when they walked on stage. I can't remember what shirts the other guys were wearing. I don't know if it was Velez or if it was something deeper, but yeah, it was all pretty base T-shirts.
Exactly.
Matters, but it was clearly it was a statement. You know what I mean? It. Sorry,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it was a statement. It wasn't like those guys were wearing cool shirts. It was like they were wearing those shirts because of the state of black metal, and those guys they're the realist, you know. They're some of the they get it. Shout out, so they get on
shout
stage
out to Klaxon. I love Klaxon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to, but they're I love anyone that basically puts a middle finger out to the modern day black metal is what I love to support. I've been ordering from them for years. So if you want to buy black metal in the United States, order from them, please.
Yeah, you get their stuff, and man, he's putting out he's reissuing the meat shit stuff, and that stuff's all essential. If you are like if you just listen to that and you think it's grind, like, and that's all it is, then you're a fucking poser. Like, that's some of the best shit. Like, that's like one tier, just a little bit below Anal Cunt. You know, as far as essential goes.
Oh, yeah, shout out Mike Deathrage, you know, like, by the way.
Yeah,
Robert Deathrage.
Yeah, Robert Deathrage. Yeah, he's the best, dude. And like the old meat shit stuff, like Ecstasy of Death is like, I don't know if they're gonna redo that one. That's got like the best cover. It looks like a black metal or a death metal cover, but then you get it and it's just this absolutely just bonkers death grind. And the backing band on that album is Infestor.
Oh yeah.
So like that band
Infestor
fucking rules
so
too.
sick.
So like that's why that album. There's a certain era of meat shits it's basically Infestor with Robert Deathrage on vocals, and like that, all that shit's essential. But because they went into like just straight up porno grind, but like I don't know if this will get us pulled, but any band that has an album called Sniper at the Fag Parade, I mean, come on, dude. And then you've got what was it, Death to Feminist Cunts or something? Like that's the attitude that should be present in black metal.
Yeah, it's the attitude that should be present in all subversive music. I mean, Meat Shits is a band that I've talked about this before on a previous podcast. But there are people that listen to bands like Anal Cunt, for example, who think of it as high, serious art, which to a certain degree it is. But what it exists to be is basically a fuck you against music itself. Because if you think about the average person that goes into playing music to attain some kind of social credibility, obtain some sort of financial gain, bands like Anal Cunt, Meat Shits, whatever, any sort of extremely abrasive and antisocial music, you do not do it because you want to be respected. You do it because you want to basically tell the world to go fuck itself and tell the world that you do not give a single shit about its sensibilities, and you're gonna make the music you want to make. But
it's still good too. It's good, and it's good because it's there's no limits on it, and that's what's good about it. And art shouldn't have any limits to it, and it should speak for itself. And if you do it and you do this thing like those guys do, and it's over the top, the listener hopefully will be able to see if it's authentic or not, because you know it's authentic with fucking Seth Putnam. You know what I mean? I met him a couple times, and like that, it's all real. You know what I mean? Like, he's a very nice guy, but like he didn't care about that shit. I mean, he was serious about his fucking band, but but that was it. It's real. Like, so anybody could come up with a band and then just play a bunch of noise and then just say a bunch of racist. Yeah, dude, there you go. That record fucking rules. The fucking just the attitude behind it is like you can tell. And if you come out and you're just gonna say a bunch of like racist stuff or anti-feminist stuff and just say, I don't like woke people, well, congratulations, dude, you're just like everybody else. But where it came from and the meat shits too is like, it's so genuine and like it's good. There shouldn't be limits on it, and people should be able to tell whether you're serious about it or not. And you should be able to tell if someone is for real, because it's going to come across as like, oh, congratulations, you sound like Anal Cunt. Well, I'm going to go listen to Anal Cunt now. I don't give a fuck about your band. You're just trying to
be subversive, but in a way that comes across as authentic.
Yeah, authentically subversive. Now, if you sound exactly like Absurd, I'm not Absurd, but Anal Cunt or Absurd for that matter, and you're authentic, then man, that's fucking awesome. Put out a demo, I'll buy it. But like, don't do it just because you like them, and it's just because then you're just covering it at that point, you know. It's
and I think that's something that I think about this all the time. Is I think we've lost a generation of really subversive, otherwise would be subversive or extreme musicians to they see the musical landscape and they think, what's the point, you know? They look at like currently what's being, because I'm trying to think of like if there's a contemporary analog to a band like Anal Cunt, if there's a contemporary analog to a band like Absurd, I don't think there is, or I must be missing it, but there are people out there who are capable of making music like that. Obviously, people didn't go extinct. That have these thoughts.
I mean, there's bands that kind of give me the same feeling, but they're not newer. I mean, nowadays everybody's just so fucking apathetic, man, and everything is just available. So, like, you know, like kids coming out now, they're just apathetic, and like they're like, okay, yeah, I like Absurd, but I also like Suicide Boys, and like I grew up with Kanye West and Dimmu Borgir, and then like I also like Vlad Tepes because I saw some, you know, it's just like they've seen it all, they've done it all, they're numb to it. So I don't know if there's anything new that's going to come out, and maybe there probably shouldn't be anything new that comes out, and hopefully if it does, we'll hear about it and it'll be real, and it won't come out on some shitty label or some quote-unquote underground label that just puts out consumerist fucking crap on their underground label that's just a product, you know, where they throw a bunch of shit against the wall and see what sticks. And then that becomes the next thing that people can touch the screen of their smartphone twice in succession to get their dopamine fix. You know, I mean, it's fucking ridiculous the way things are.
There really is and I've thought about this this is something that I look for and I seek. But unfortunately, I cannot find an example of it. Is like, where is the new music being produced that is pushing the boundaries? You know, both musically and artistically, lyrically, subject matter wise. I think is it just because everything under the sun has been pushed to its farthest reaches that people are just basically bored or don't see a point? Like, have we reached basically the pinnacle of offensive or boundary defying music that we can't go any further, so no one sees any point in making it? I
mean, it's getting there, and I blame the internet because everything's just fucking readily available, but there's still stuff that comes up and shows up every now and again that you hear it. It's just not, I don't know, it's special, and I like to hold on to that stuff and hope that it remains special, because people get on these bigger labels even though they're considered underground, and they kind of change, and then they just get lumped in with like 5 other releases that come out in a month, and then people just don't fucking care. They're like, oh cool, yeah, I got that record, it came on, you know, Pussy Pink Splatter vinyl, and oh yeah, I got the Unicorn Queef variant of that one. So like, it's like, who fucking cares? You're just gonna post it on the internet, and like, you're gonna forget about it. But like, every once in a while something slips through, and it's really special when it happens, and hopefully it comes out. Hopefully it'll be soon. Like, I used to hate everything, I still hate everything, but man, I get excited now when I hear new stuff that's exciting. I mean, that sounds fucking gay.
No, you know what band?
Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Is like if there's some, man, if the energy's there and it makes you want to fucking, you know, rip things apart, and that's fucking great. Do it. You know, fucking play.
There is kind of like a newer band that, and I was listening to them the other day, and I really they're a divisive band, but they're Flaming Ouroboros. I don't know.
I haven't checked them out yet. Hospital just put out a tape.
So they've gotten criticism for just being like, quote, non. There are people who say they're too melodic, or they're too like sentimental, or they're too like whatever you'll have. But I do they're doing something that's a little different within the subgenre, which it's kind of like. I guess Total Vernichtung is they're
like that style,
or like
that's because that's fucking that rules, man.
Roster Chester, Eisenwinter, like
that stuff's great.
Flaming Ouroboros, I would say, it's within that, but they're even more melodic. They're taking elements of this might be kind of a bastardization of where their influences are from, but to me it sounds just like almost a pop punk sentimentality, which can sound like very grating to to someone who's not like familiar with that sound, but it's almost, or I don't know, that whatever influence Total Vernichtung is pulling from, their Flaming Ouroboros is taking that and kind of cranking that to like 11. They're cranking it like super hyper melodic, very almost over, like it should not sound black metal, and at certain points it doesn't sound black metal, but their songwriting and song structure for a bunch of young kids, from what I know, they're young guys, to be pushing black metal in that direction, I thought was at least interesting, because there are not a lot of bands that, like, you have like a Vothana, for example, like, who's like blown up in the underground for his, people have called it the triumphant black metal sound or whatever, but Flaming Ouroboros is kind of doing that, but to like the most extreme, which I think is
oh shit, they're from the United States. For some reason I thought they were Finnish.
Yeah, I could see they do have kind of like a European-esque quality, but all that to say is that they are a band, at least, that has done some interesting stuff within black metal over the last several years that I thought was at least something that caught my ear, and I was like, okay, this is at least different enough to where it's not just blending into a million different fucking vampiric bedroom, Dark Throne worship projects that just gloss over. I'm like, whatever, I don't give a shit about this.
Yeah, I need to check this out. I know some guys that have played in this, and I didn't realize it was related. I think that I kind of, they have, I think I don't like their fucking logo. Any band that has tree limbs in their logo, it looks like tree limbs, I'm gonna avoid. I've been like that since the beginning. That's like the entry level, like Fisher Price black metal, like. But I think I avoided that, and if they were like new Finnish, but I don't know why, but I'll check it out. I mean, the Total Vernichtung, like, that stuff is so original. Like, that would be great. That's actually the first band that listed as similar artists on Metallum. And here we go. Eisenwinter, down a little bit from that. That's another fucking great band that's got the same vibe as Absurd. I love that fucking band. So yeah, I'll definitely give them a shot. Speaking, before I forget, talking about bands that sound like Absurd, that are clunky and have that like that kind of like prideful but like youthful vibe, and like not very good at your instruments quite yet, is like this scene of Finnish bands that aren't part of the big Finnish band scene, like the bands that you all think about. But have you heard Pervogoat or Insane Apollyon or Disengelium? No. All those, you need to fucking hear all that shit. So Disengelium, they've got a double CD out, and it's just got everything they ever did. It's got the 95, 97, both 97 demos, and then a recording from 2001. So and that guy, I don't think I'm fucking like telling anything people don't already know, but I think that guy is also involved and was in Pervogoat, maybe. Yeah, he is. It's on Metallum. Yeah, here we go. Pervogoat is one of the guys that's in Disengelium. That stuff has got the same vibe. I get the music mixed up. It's all very similar to Absurd, but some of it's slightly faster. But Pervogoat is really good. There's a compilation CD. I think there's a compilation CD with both the Pervogoat demos. That stuff is absolutely in the same vein as early Absurd. It came out in the same era. It's like 96, 97. But it was Finland playing that kind of stuff. Like, that stuff, like, for a long time, Finland was just releasing, like, the weakest shit, like Azagal and stuff like that. And, okay, this is going to be really controversial probably to a lot of people that listen. I fucking hate Horna. I think Horna's the biggest pile of shit. I don't like Goat Moon either, man, for that matter, but Horna is the worst goddamn black, but they've got exactly one good song, maybe two, one good song, and it's the song on their side of the split with Woods of Infinity. And, like, I love Woods of Infinity, but, like,
Sus.
Jesus Christ, Horna is man, whatever.
No,
it's art, man. Remember what we just talked about? What did we just talk about?
I like Woods of Infinity, too.
Yeah, I'm not a pedophile, and I don't, whatever, but that's some of the most honest, best black metal ever made. Like, I could do an episode on fucking Woods of Infinity, but, like, it's, but they have a split 7-inch, and the Woods of Infinity track is, of course, godly. But the Horna track, I could listen to that on repeat. I don't know, like, it's got feeling, and I like songs that are sad. Same. So, it makes me feel something. Which, I mean, that's important. If you can make me feel something, then Jesus Christ, play like that. Because that's what music should be. It's expression. And expression is not just playing fast chords and screaming and with no emotion.
That's what gives it
Dark
power
Throne,
is you have an emotion behind it.
Yeah, so let's take Dark Throne. They've got Soulside Journey and what is this? Blaze in the Northern... No, not Soulside Journey. What? Blaze in the Northern Sky, Transylvanian Hunger, and Soulside. Those are the three that are with the black and... What's the first one called? When they were good death metal?
Is that not Soulside Journey?
I think that's
Soulside when they were death metal.
Well, it's
Blaze in Northern Sky.
With the black and white
hold on, I'm total poser.
I've hated Dark Throne
for having to look this up.
No. I've hated Dark Throne for so long that I forget.
Under a Funeral Moon.
Yeah. So those three albums, again, this is going to be another controversial fucking thing. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but Transylvanian Hunger came out. That's their fourth album, right? So there's
correct. That's their fourth full length.
Yeah. So Blazing or Soulside Journey, absolutely incredible. Good death metal. It's weird and clunky. It's Dark Throne. So A Blaze in the Northern Sky and Under a Funeral Moon, total fucking styro.
Oh yeah,
absolute styro releases. Not good at all. There's like maybe one. I don't think so. There's no good songs on those albums.
Distro filler to a T.
Yes, but Transylvanian Hunger comes out. That's got so much emotion behind it, and like I think it was.
I mean, literally the song Transylvanian Hunger is one of the most powerful black metal songs ever written.
Yeah. Well, and Stephen O'Malley from Conate and Burning Witch and stuff, he said it best. He was like, that was like one of the best drone albums. Like you could take it out of context and listen to it not as black metal, and it's still good because it's droning and it does something. And my point is, there's emotion to it. The emotion you feel the first time you hear Transylvanian Hunger. It's so cold, you know.
It's in the lyrics.
I mean, it's in the lyrics. I mean, pardon the pun, but it's in the fucking lyrics, man. Like that album's fantastic, and but play something you can feel, man. Don't just you can play. Like they did it on 2 albums before, and they played fast, and they screamed, and they said words like funeral and goat and fire, and it didn't fucking didn't. And people, you know, all the girls like to wear the long sleeves, and I love Dark Throne. They're fucking great. Yeah, it's cool. You know, it's not. Fuck, those albums are fucking trash. You should search your feelings, and you'll know it to be true. That is fucking trash as styro. Transylvanian Hunger is good.
I have a Dark Throne tattoo, and I agree. They're a total styro band. I specifically like...
Well, not all of it.
No. I specifically like Transylvanian Hunger. That is the quintessential... If not the... Personally speaking, I've listened to their whole discography. I've even listened to the later, like, Circle the Wagons and all that bullshit, like, later stuff that they did. I can speak as someone that has like dedicated a lot of time thinking about and digesting Darkthrone's music. It was a sad fact to basically come to the conclusion that they have maybe a few good records, a few maybe.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
I could tell you the cutoff when you get done talking.
For me, the cutoff is Panzerfaust. That's my cutoff.
Oh well, okay. That I'll give you that. My cutoff is Total Death. I like Total Death. Now I like Goat Lord too. Now Goat Lord came out in 1996, but technically it was recorded. It was recorded between Soulside and A Blaze in the Northern Sky, and they said they switched styles.
Oh yeah, they totally
sure
they've kind of used Darkthrone, and we should do a Darkthrone episode because I have so many thoughts about Darkthrone, but.
Yeah, I'll get real fucking angry
all
I
can say is that they've used the Darkthrone banner, which has a bunch of clout, to explore a bunch of their more uninteresting musical ideas.
Yeah, but I'll say Goat Lord is the cutoff, but technically that's early, so Total Death. But
Panzerfaust is fucking sick, though. You gotta admit.
Panzerfaust is my favorite Darkthrone, and it made me sad because that album used to be so special to me. Like when it came out, so you gotta imagine, like Transylvanian Hunger came out in '94, and then Panzerfaust comes out in 1995, and holy fucking shit, dude! Quintessence is like one of my favorite songs ever. It's like black metal hellhammer. It's so fucking heavy. It's so easy. Then they did that gay band Storm, and they did the same thing, and they called it something else.
I'm trying to find my first press Panzerfaust. I can't, but that's.
But Storm is a good example of like that sing-songy fucking Prideful, but it doesn't feel very genuine at all. It feels just kind of like fruity. And then they got that woman on it, and she's like singing, and it's like it just. It's
funny you brought. What are your thoughts on Isengard?
Man, I wish I could like that, because I'll tell you, since they've come out, like a lot of people I have a lot of respect for love that fucking band, and all I can hear is Storm without the woman. What's her name? Kari something. Like, it's not that she's a woman. Like, I like women.
Thank you for the clarification.
No.
Yeah,
But I don't want to see
women in metal is always a touchy subject.
It's not that she's a woman. It feels feminine. Right. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
The Maniac Butcher said it best. No keyboards, no female vocals. I mean, that's not always the case, but it's a good place to start. But I've kind of just ignored Isengard. I know they've got some good stuff, but isn't most of it just kind of like a little bit less feminine Storm? Isn't it always that kind of like drunken?
It's like Viking adjacent type shit.
Vikings are gay, dude. Oh yeah, dude.
Look.
He's showing an anal clencher. That's the best, dude. Anal clencher's the best. You look divorced. That's fucking amazing, man.
Yeah, this is a what is it? 96?
40 More Reasons to Hate Us tour. God, 1996.
Yeah.
I saw them in 2001.
And that's original. That's not a reprint, by the way.
Oh shit. 2001 September. What would it be? 11, 12. 13, I guess it was the 14th. Was a Friday. So like 11, 12. So September 14th, 2001. This was the Friday after 9/11, the terrorist attacks. I drove to a city about 3 or 4 hours away from me because it was the closest that Anal Cunt was coming. And I couldn't fucking believe that they were on tour still, because they were clearly on tour when the thing happened. And there weren't very many people there. There was maybe 10 people there in the entire audience. It was in a shitty venue, and they leveled the place. They were so fucked up. They played the same song. They played the songs about. I want to be careful because it's YouTube, but the songs about our uncle that's a painter from Austria, like the songs that reference that guy, like they played those songs at least 3 times because
the Holocaust.
Yeah, Holocaust, and Hitler was a sensitive man.
Yeah.
But like, So they played those songs, and then they did all these racist jokes about Arabs because of 9/11, like the entire night. And then they made sure they picked out every single person in the crowd, because there's only like 10 of us, and they described them, made sure that you knew he was talking to you, and made fun of you and called you gay. It was the best thing ever. The only person that got offended was this girl. She had all these piercings in her face. She was a girlfriend of some punk guy. It was like well, we used to call them oogles. Now we call them crusties.
Dude, oogles. No one says oogles anymore.
So she was like the girlfriend of this oogle, and she's like, "You can't say that. You can't say gay. You shouldn't make fun of me." And he just, dude, you can't tell Seth Putnam to not make fun of you, dude. It's just gonna,
dude. For our younger listeners, no one remembers, but oogle was a slur back then. He didn't. People hated being called that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they hated being called, because I like, did they like being called crusties? Did they like being called, no, not crusty like crust punk, but like, yeah, like the brown, they look brown, like they're white people, but I mean, you can be not white, but you could be white and be brown, like what do they call them now? Like just train hoppers?
Yeah, crust fund.
Yeah, mean,
like that whole. So there is like a lost generation of punk that those types of people are not getting into punk. They're getting into like rap now.
Really? Because they tried to get into black metal for a while. Because all those guys were wearing Darkthrone hoodies. Oh, okay, cool.
I remember that, dude. I was like a little. See, you know what's funny, dude? I was like the little kid that like knew about like Nocturnal Mortem and shit.
Yeah.
Like I was a total
an anomaly.
I've always tried to like think about this. Like, how did I get into this? I have no idea. I can't like pinpoint an exact. But I was like 11 years old going to black metal shows.
Good.
And like wearing like original fucking like actual like Darkthrone, like not reprints from the time, like actual. It was I begged. I was what was it? Secret. Concealed cash was how I paid for stuff.
What do they call it? Well concealed cash.
Concealed cash.
Hell
yeah, that's how I used to pay for stuff. Was by I literally mowed.
That's the real underground.
I mowed lawns. In 7 months, I would send it off to literally Germany or like Finland or whatever. And 7 months later, I would get a shirt.
And you were happy to wait those 7 months.
Yeah. I was on like all the forums, like all that stuff. I do not know how I stumbled into this subgenre, but like I was the youngest kid at every single metal show I went to, and I remember thinking even back then, I was like, "Who are these posers?"
Yeah, I mean, I hope you got made fun of, and because
I did
because it didn't work. 'Cause if you got made fun of and then you slumped away from it, you didn't need to be there.
That
anyway.
hardened my soul because at a certain point, I knew more about black metal and death metal, whatever noise, whatever, than any fucking person going to those shows, because I had the tenacity. Like, dude, I was in middle school, like reading zines.
Well, that's how I was, man.
Yeah.
I got
this was like the 2000s. Like no one gave a fuck. Yeah. Dude, my friends were listening to like shit like Attack and like all that type of stuff.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It was like MySpace type. It was like MySpace core. But like I was like drawn to like the black metal side, which there was literally, I had no one. It was like a scene of one. It was like me and that was it.
Well, it should be for outsiders, you know. It doesn't need to be for, you know, friendship circles and circle jerks, you know. But the Oogles, they how do we start talking about Oogles?
We were just talking
about way too much coffee.
Posers at show. It was an anal cunt show you were talking about.
Oh, the anal cunt show. Yeah, she was an oogle. But oogles are the fucking worst. If I don't know what to call them now, but you know them if you saw them. Like my first encounter with oogles, because they don't have them where I'm from, because I live in an upper middle class area. But so I went to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I rode on a bus for 24 hours from where I live to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in either 96 or 97 to Milwaukee Metal Fest. And this is before fests were like everywhere. This was it was a crazy international fest. And This wasn't the first one. It was like, God, it was probably 10 or 11. I still have the flyers for it, and like.
Yeah, Milwaukee Metal Fest '96. That who were the headliners that year?
It might have been the one that Emperor played.
Okay, so was that during their gay like armor era?
Yeah. Because I think I went because I didn't like what they were doing. Like I don't like anything after Nightside Eclipse, but I wanted to see it, and there were a bunch of other bands that played that I wanted to see. But so I go, and it was at a really nice like. First of all, Milwaukee is an incredible city. It was the first thing I remember is I got off the Greyhound, and I'm walking to the hotel or something we're staying at, and it was so fucking clean. It was even in the 90s, before we had fentanyl and like immigrants and all the stuff we have now. They're just shit up everywhere. It's like it was very, very clean, and it was easy to like to get everywhere. But like so. It's in this huge auditorium. It's like I'm pretty sure it's in the same type of building where they had like professional basketball games and stuff. It was an auditorium, but it was old. And we go outside to smoke or something, and there's like this cloud of brown, and it's quite literally the same vibe as Pigpen. If you can imagine Pigpen from Charlie Brown, like a group of them, like 5 or 6 of them. So like they're white people, but they're brown, you know, from the dirt, and it's just this cloud of dirt, and they're moving, and like I'm like, what the fuck is that? And like they all got shitty dreadlocks, like their hair and their skin and their shirts. They could be you could be wearing a white, what used to be a white shirt. It was still all brown. It's just dirt, just dust. And I was like, what the fuck is that? To my friend, it was like some guy that I knew, but he was from there, and he's like, oh, those are fucking oogles. And like people would like actively mock them. Like, you can't do that shit now because like someone's feelings will get hurt, but like they're just like, fuck you, oogle, get the fuck out of here, because they're like, oh, is there like a metal show, like you guys got any money, can we have some beer? But like
meanwhile their father's like some millionaire lawyer.
I don't know if it was like that back then though. Was it always like that?
I think so,
because they were truly dirty, shitty people. Like they were like, they had this like the trashy tattoos,
dude,
like the stick and pokes, and
every
they all love 40s.
Like that is some rich parent.
Ugh. Everybody sucks, man. God damn, everybody fucking. I hope this is the last year coming up, man. This is fucking trash.
You know what I've always thought was fascinating. So like, you'll go at like, especially in the underground. So you'll have like skins which dress like at least like a certain type of skinhead will dress like nice. Like they'll wear like Fred Perry or Napapari, Barbour, Stone Island. They'll try to present, but they might be totally poor as shit.
Yeah.
But they try to like present some sort of like aspirational, nice, image. But then you'll have people that literally grow up with like millionaire lawyer fathers who will be like total crust punks because they know that they have something to fall back on, so they can LARP as a poor person for 8 or 9 years, but then they'll be like, okay, I'm done with that, I'm gonna go get a job at my father's business or whatever. I've seen that so many times.
Oh man, it's like the rich people used to say like, oh, I'm gonna do a summer abroad in Europe and backpack across Europe. You see that in movies and shit. It's like, I'm gonna do a summer abroad in Milwaukee. I'm gonna go from New York to Milwaukee and just live on the streets and ride trains for a while and write and romanticize it, and hopefully you get fucking AIDS and stabbed, dude, because it's fucking garbage.
I remember meeting people and being like, okay, and then like 5 or 6 years removed from that, they're like a normie country bar person. It's like, okay, what was that about? Like,
what was that? What were you going through, man? Like, I was trying to find myself. Fuck you, dude. No, you weren't. You were working something out, man. But it was not cool. But like, anyway, that was a weird sidebar. But yeah, I fucking hate those people, man. They're the worst, and they LARP. Maybe that goes into that, like. They LARP as that shit, and they also LARP as being a part of a scene, because they were definitely into black metal for a while, and they were like, and then like Dark Throne was like the band for them. They like loved Dark Throne because it was like acceptable. It didn't have any like weird politics. I mean,
well, they had the Norsk Arsk. CD.
Yeah, but that's, again, it's one of those things like, well, I can forgive that because it's so influential and they didn't really mean it back then. You know, it's what, it's so selective in the fucking
They
being
marketed
offended.
themselves as the world's most hated band.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
I remember that. And they were on Peaceville. That, I think that was pretty fucking based. Is like, they put out their shit on Peaceville and they're like, okay, so Peaceville's got bands like Anathema and My Dying Bride and like other bands that were coming out around then. A lot of really good bands. And they're like, okay, so we're going to do Dark Throne. Here's a studio budget. And they're like, oh, okay, man, we got this 4-track. And we're going to go over to the drummer's house and record it. And it sounds fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong. That production style's badass. But
it probably sold more records than My Dying Bride did, too.
I don't know about that. But probably now it has. But like... But yeah, like that was such a middle finger, dude. Like they're like so I mean that's another reason to respect fucking Peaceville back then is for putting that out and it sounds like that. I mean, it sounds really good. I don't know how they got it to sound so great but still being raw. But man, they pulled it off. But I don't know, but like I don't get the thing with Dark Throne. They were the most hated band, and then they become the most beloved bands by oogles and posers. It's like very entry level, because like I tried to give it a shot. I listened to everything up to Ravishing Grimness, and it was just like, this is just bad, dude. It's just really, really bad. They're just going through the motions, and then from there it just got progressively more embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
And
so I think
Fenriz is like the worst human being like in the underground, but he's like, oh, he knows metal, man. He's like the Dawn of the Dead of black metal. He's like, oh, he's just a cool guy that knows everything. Fuck that, dude. They're both
he's the cool,
man.
like eager old guy that quote unquote supports new bands, but he's supporting the most bullshit.
Yeah,
he's supporting the It's the life support of the scene.
Yeah. Don't give those people your money, dude, because it just keeps this shit around longer. Everything needs to just stop, and we just need to be happy with what we have now. If that happened, I'd be so fucking happy, man, because I've got, like, you didn't know about Pervo Goat, man. Like, we could stop right now, and you could go hear Pervo Goat and be like, holy shit, this is a new band I fucking like. And then you could check out Vornat, Insane Apollyon, and Disengelium. Like, that's great shit. Everybody listening to this, you should check out those bands. I've probably fucked that name up, but like Pervo Goat is Pervogoat. Just go from there. That's great stuff, man. Like, there's old bands still that haven't been found yet, but new shit just does not need to be. Overeager metal guys that are just now getting into the internet because it's cool, like, it's fucking lame, dude. It's awful. I don't want to name names because I'm not going to do that, but man, it is fucking lame, dude. It is fucking lame trying to live off this perceived legacy that has been this badge of honor to yourself for 25 plus years, and then you're like, oh, I fuck all that stuff. And then now all of a sudden you're embracing it. Like, come on, man. Fuck that, dude. Like, it's lame. No one has any fucking sense of, like, I don't know. They don't take a position and stick with it. Just have some fucking, like, I don't know, integrity, man. Like, stick with your position. Like, you can grow up, but if you're already grown and you have that and then you change, there's no excuse. You're looking for fucking, like, I don't know, you want that dopamine rush the same as like the rest of social media. It's fucking retarded.
Yeah,
I don't fucking
pats
like
on
it.
The back.
Yeah, I want to live in a fucking cabin and be left the fuck alone. I don't want to be friends. I don't want people to like and subscribe. I appreciate it, but I don't fucking care if you like and subscribe. That's not why we're doing this. Like, he's younger version of what I used to be, and like, I see that, and we appreciate each other's things, but man, I don't care about social media is fucking awful, and it's ruined this kind of music, I think, and it's probably a lot of music. I'm sure there's people that into punk that's like, and like other quote-unquote subversive forms of music that it's just completely ruined it because it's become a consumerist thing, and that's all fueled by social media, and it's awful. It's absolutely awful, and it is one of the things, it's one of the great tragedies in the world that, like, art has been reduced to consumerism.
Absolutely. I think there is I mentioned it before, but I think there is a lost generation of people that otherwise would have been producing great art, great music, but they just don't have a good either foundation for it. They don't have a good context for music for their ideas to basically be a conduit for, which is something that I want to kind of explore with going into Absurd, which I want to kind of segue this into talking about. So we mentioned Absurd's their demo years. Obviously, they had this infamous crime where they killed this Punisher kid, which take that for whatever. We mentioned that in the BH podcast Prime episode, which there was a pretty infamous crime where they killed a child, Sandra Byer, and they were sentenced to prison for it. They put his tombstone on a demo, and then they did this recording within prison called In Ketten, and then after that they released Fakta Lekunter, which is their seminal, I would say their most revered and respected record.
Absolutely.
Kind of give me, so something that I wanted to ask you and pick your brain about. What do you have any memories of first hearing this record, and what were your thoughts of, like, was this your first exposure to Absurd? Had you already known about them? And what do you think about this record and its legacy in terms of black metal?
So first of all, I think just piggybacking on what we were just talking about, seeing the pictures of Sandro Byer, he looks like a fucking. Now, I'm not saying this doesn't forgive what they did. It's not, it's not a good crime that they did, but he seems like a fucking oogle. The pictures I've seen of him, he looks like a crust punk, dude. He looks like a Punisher. He give me that same vibe. But anyway, Fakta, like I said earlier, like I had heard the demos through tape trading, and I had gotten out of the dungeon, and I kept that one. And because it was cool because of the cover, and like I liked some of the songs. I didn't really get what they were going. It wasn't. I couldn't understand it. But Fakta I got, and that was when my tape trader buddy was like, "No, dude, you need to fucking hear this." And it had the Thringian Pagan Madness EP on it. You just couldn't get that shit over here. I mean, you could, but it's impossible. But I got a tape of Fakta. And I think I still have it. If I do, I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to you. But like, he drew the logo on it, and he said, you've got to fucking listen to this. You have to listen to this, and if you don't like it, you give up on it. And like, I listened to it, and like I said, the first time I listened to it, I was like, yeah, this is still pretty clunky. They sound a little bit better, but the goddamn songs, it was probably Gates of Heaven and Eternal Winter or something, or even Morning Soul, just got stuck in my head because they're earworms, man. They get in your head and they stay there. And the lyrics are kind of goofy, like, because I mean, they're German kids, like they're singing English, and so it kind of comes across like they don't, they just learned their guitars, and it sounds like they just learned English too, because it sounds like bad poetry, but. Yeah. It's something stuck with me, and I loved it, and I just kind of got obsessed from there. And a guy that I met, I think I talked about him in the last episode. My buddy that he's Polish, he's half Polish, half German. The guy that we would listen to Graveland and shit, and we're on the first episode. I was talking about just experiencing Carpathian Wolves. Like when I met him in like '97. We met at a show. I can't remember I don't know what show it was. Oh, I think it was, no, I met him in 92. I'm sorry. I met him in 1992 in Cannibal Corpse on the Bleeding Tour. And then we didn't become friends until 97. That's what it was. We would see each other at shows. But we became really close friends in 96 or 97, and Absurd was his favorite band. Like, already, he was like, we knew death metal, and we talked about death metal at shows and stuff, but he was into black metal, and we were talking about Absurd, and I was like, man, you're probably going to think this is terrible, but, like, do you like that band Absurd? And he's like, oh, yeah, that's my favorite band. And he liked him because he has kind of, like, the same leanings, and, like, he was already into, we're both into Graveland and stuff, and he was half German, and he was like, yeah, like Absurd's like the best. It's like the best shit ever. And he's still like, that's the only person I know that loves every single era, and he doesn't care about the drama or anything, and like, he's just like, it's fucking fantastic. And there's just something to it, and it sticks with you, and I just couldn't get enough. And it's really influential. Like I really like the way I like to try to figure out, like, I'm a musician, so I try to figure out what bands are doing. Like, how do you get that sound, man? And like with Absurd, I try to figure it out. Like, how the fuck do they get that sound? Nowadays, it's so easy to copy. You can get, you could just figure something out or look online, but like, there's no Absurd pedal. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck were those guys using back then to sound that good, even though they probably didn't really know what they were doing? And it sounded so fucking good, and it was so honest, and the music was so honest, and they kind of branched out from there. And I actually think they regressed. Maybe it was the time in prison, but like, As Guards Dry, like that album is so clunky, and we'll talk about that next time. But like, that album is like even more dumb, like musically dumb, than the earlier stuff. It's like, but it's got so much more fucking spirit to it, in some ways. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is about that album, but that's probably the most reissued version, or the album with the most different versions of reissues is Facta. And I was going to tell you my favorite version, and for some reason it's never been reissued, so it's kind of hard to find because Discogs blocks things. But like, if you find it on eBay, like, it probably goes for $100, or they'll probably start with $88. But there's a label in the US called Supreme Art that was around in the late 90s, and that guy was a fucking madman, and he put out, and to what I consider the best version of Facta La Kunter, and it has all the best versions of all the songs. It's got the stuff that is let me bring it up. So I need to be more prepared next time and bring my copies like you do. It's got the tracks that went on to be bonus tracks on other albums. So I'm sorry, Supreme Art version came out in 2002. I thought it came out in 99, but it came out in 2002, and it's got 22 tracks, and it's 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 55 seconds. I think at the time that was close to being as much as you could get onto a CD. And have you seen that version before? Do you have that version?
I don't know.
It's got
what's the art on it?
It's the classic art.
Okay.
It's just got the title is in a different weird font, but it's got so it's got the full album, and then it's basically got like 12 bonus tracks. It's got my favorite song of theirs is I'm gonna butcher because I don't know German, but In des Mondes Blutgem Schein, and like, it's got that. It's got Verlassen, which went on to be on a 7-inch. It's got the Blood Axis cover, which is incredibly fucking based, of Lord of Ages. It's got a different version of Werewolf. It's got different versions of some of the other songs, but it's got my other two favorite songs besides the one I just mentioned, and is Als die Alten Jung nach Waren. Like that, those two songs, the one I butchered a minute ago and that one, are fucking fantastic. And the other two, my other two favorite songs from Absurd, are on this reissue, which I think they ended up on other things, but they're Requiem and Vampire. I'm not sure if those versions ended up somewhere else. Let me look at this. Let's see, what track is
were those
that?
like demo sessions or something?
Originally written in 92, recorded in this is just a version that they recorded at the beginning of the Escarzre session, and it just wasn't on the first version. But it came out on this version, Requiem and Vampire, and it's as heavy, if you want to call Escarzre a heavy album. It doesn't have that same production, like it's kind of, it has like a demo vibe, but it's so fucking heavy, the version of Requiem and Vampire that's on the Supreme Art version. But I mean, you shouldn't steal music, but I mean, everybody fucking does. But if you can find the Supreme Art version somewhere, because you're not gonna find it for sale anywhere. It's really rare, but it's official. It's not a bootleg. But if you can find that version, 22 tracks, it's the best version. You can listen to it all the way through and then start it over again. You won't get bored.
Is it a double CD?
No, it's a single disc. That's the thing that's crazy, man. It's almost an hour and 20 minutes long. It's 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 55 seconds.
Damn, 22 tracks is...
Yeah, it is. But all the songs... Dude, it's got Lord of Ages on it. I love their Blood Axis cover. I'm a huge Blood Axis fan. And their cover... Like, I saw that, and I was like, holy shit, dude. Now, in hindsight, it makes sense because of Michael Moynihan being involved in Lords of Chaos. I'm sure.
Yeah, I wonder what the connection there was.
Like, JFN was probably a fan of Blood Axis, man. Yeah. I mean, Blood Axis has been around for a while. He was in Blood Axis, and he was in I forget his first band, but he was in, and he also is involved in some books and literature that we're fans of that we can't talk about here. But
yep.
So I think that was probably the connection there. But yeah, that Blood Axis cover is fucking crazy because it's just like a guitar, and I don't even know if it's like a clunky guitar lead, a bass, and a drum. And the vocals, and it sounds like Sebastian singing. It's fucking incredible, dude. Like,
yeah, please send that to me. Also,
yeah, I'll rip it to you.
Michael Moynihan,
yeah,
OG based hooligan.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. But yeah, that I will forever spurg out about that fucking version. That is so fucking incredible. Like, my copy got stolen, and my buddy, I almost said his name. My buddy that I was just talking about. He's such a fucking mensch. He had 2 copies, dude. And I saw him, like, back around my birthday, and he's like, yo, check this out. And he just slid it over a table. He's like, I know you, like, we were talking about it and how much I missed it, but that's, like, been his favorite band, so he gave me a second copy. But, like, I mean, wow. I'm so, like, incredibly lucky to have found it, because someone stole it because it's so sought after. But, it's really, if you can get your hands on it, it's worth paying the money. It's one of those things that I would pay. And like, most of those songs appear on other things. I don't think there's anything too incredibly rare on that version that's not somewhere else, but it's just the vibe. You have to take into context of when it came out. It came out in 2002, and a lot of that stuff wasn't around. And this fucking maniac I think he was in New Jersey. He just rips this out, and it's fucking, the only thing I don't think he put out much stuff on he only had 5 or 6 releases. He put out Absurd, Graven, which is a really bad German band. This is Styro. He put out Havelhedge. He reissued Dethrone the Son of God. Like, I know people fucking hate Profanatica now. I hate what he's become too, but like, when Havelhedge came out originally on Candlelight, which was insane, it didn't get reissued until 2004, before Paul Ledney had his fucking big upcomings, and now he's like a darling of whatever you want to call today's underground. But like, this guy, Supreme Art reissued that, and the only other 2 releases he did were Otar, that band from Poland. I'm sure you know those guys. He put out Woodland Desolation, which is a compilation, and I think that's just demos. It's their first 2 demos, and then he put out the When I Cut the Throat album. So this guy almost has a perfect discography for his label. He puts out the best version of Absurd, He puts out Otar and fucking Hablohedge, and his only backtrack was Graven, which is really shitty German black metal. It's like the worst styro ever. But
how was a guy in New Jersey though?
He's a maniac, dude.
What was going
he's
on?
a fucking maniac, and I've heard some things about him. I don't want to say here because I don't know if he's still involved. Like these are things that I would say to you in personal conversations that aren't offensive about someone, but I don't want to offend somebody else. But he's very, let's just say he's very particular about things. He's very smart, and he may have a few ticks. You know what I mean? So but he's very thorough, and the fucking I want to say that the layout in that was pretty intense too. It's pretty extensive. Like it's a booklet. It's one of those booklets that almost doesn't fit under the little tabs in the CD tray because it's super so thick. Which is fucking great because it's absurd, you know. So, but that is my best. That's my favorite release of theirs as far as a favorite version. Like it's because it's got all of my favorite eras on one thing. It's because it's got some stuff from Asgard's on. It's got the early stuff without the super clunky stuff, and then it's also got the weird like keyboard tracks on that split that came from the Inketten. But I think before I went on this autistic ramble, you'd asked me about Inketten. And is that what you were talking to me about? Or you asked about Inketten?
I just was wondering about your first encounter with
it was that. Well, and
with
then
Factilikunter.
Yeah. But yeah, what about yours?
I'm trying to remember. I think so Absurd was definitely an early band for me and my black metal journey, it's kind of a funny band to find early on. I think that's kind of what influenced a lot of my taste, in that I was a forum junkie. I just pored over every single thread, every single old archived post that I could absolutely get my hands on. And I think a lot of what I kept coming back to was people were talking about this album Factilikunter as being this foundational release. And I think I definitely torrented it early on. And so this must have been like 2005, 2006. Because I definitely wasn't that clued into a distro that was stalking it.
Yeah.
So I got my hands on a torrent of it, and I just remember being completely blown away by the music on it, because it was essentially what I had been looking for in black metal. It was this triumphant and raw sound that I think I was like. An album like Transilvanian Hunger, it has that in at least like elements of that, very I'll say it's that like melodic, melancholic, but also you want to like raise your beer stein to, or whatever. That's kind of what drew me to black metal in the first place. So like a song like the first track off Transilvanian Hunger, even though it is like a somber track, it does have that kind of like you want to basically not necessarily party to it, but you were like, okay, this is something that I can listen to and digest and appreciate beyond like headbanging with my friends. So yeah. I think something that drew me to Absurd was it was that feeling I got from a song like Transilvanian Hunger or Burzum Philosophim, but it was cranked to 11. It was like, okay, this is something that I can show my normie friends, and they can actually like appreciate certain elements of this music. So I think that's kind of, but at the same time, it's also super inaccessible. whereas like the subject matter, the imagery associated with it, the reputation of the band is something that would turn off, 99.9% of regular metal people. They're going to be like, okay, what the fuck is this? So I think it was that initial shock factor of the band, but also like when you these days we have bands like Intolerarian, which are just completely just overly offensive, overly, it's all about the shock factor.
Yeah.
But it comes with the territory of that type of music. But when you listen to Absurd, if you don't know the context of this band and you just listen to it with all that, their reputation, their imagery, their logo, whatever, removed from it, you can almost think of it as like, okay, this is not really, it's just like a nationalistic punk band.
Yeah.
That kind of that spirit is there. But I don't know, I remember like listening to it and being drawn to that feeling, and I was like, okay, who else is doing this? And I tried to look up similar bands. That's how I found like Bill Skinner, Ice and Winter, all that type of stuff.
Oh.
But I kept being drawn to this specific release because of all the notoriety, all the different versions that existed out there. And I was like, okay, so why is it that this band is such like a focal point for this specific genre, but no one else is attempting to sound like them? I think that's kind of was like my initial fascination with them, because at that time there was like a slew of NSBM bands, but no one was trying to attempt to sound like Absurd. Yeah. At least in the way that they were sounding on that initial release.
Well, I think it has to come natural. Like those Finnish bands I talked about earlier, it doesn't, like, they don't sound like Absurd, but they're drawing from the same energy. It's got that youthful, clunky, and kind of like prideful vibe without trying to. Like, they're not going for that. It's not outwardly NS or anything. But it has that vibe. And I think bands that just do it, like, your best stuff is gonna happen if you're not trying. If you're trying, like, if it's hard and you have to concentrate on trying to do it, like, you're not gonna do it right. If it's gonna come natural, and it clearly came natural for Absurd because no one else was doing it. So, and I think that's the exception with there's other bands like the Finnish bands. That's just the thing that comes to me as far as the clunkiness and just kind of just ignorant, in a good way, ignorant, like, just really good. Like, it sounds gay, but like feel good music. It's positive. I mean, it's the same with RAC stuff. Like, you could say it's negative music, but man, that's we've talked about this. Like, that shit, like RAC, that stuff is so positive. It makes me want to fucking lift weights and fucking be a better person. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. That sounds gay, but it feels like I want to do shit, and like, it like makes me feel guilty for like any moment of the day I've wasted being like either lazy. Like, I've sat here for 10 minutes like, fuck, I could have been lifting weights or bettering myself. Like, it's the same thing with it's that that kind of positive thing. And that sounds gay, but I think you know what I'm talking about. But like, yeah, it's this almost like, it's prideful. It's pride. Yeah, it's a prideful, aspirational vibe to music. That there's nothing wrong with that, because it's not coming from a fruity place, And I think that's what I was gonna say, like, before, without getting too spicy or sketchy for algorithms. Like, I think if you feel that, it's part of it's music for the type of people that should be listening to it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense without getting too spicy? It's inherently European music. It should be part of your blood. You know what I mean? Like, you feel it, and that doesn't have to be just European. I mean, I don't know, what was that Mexican band that you showed me the other day? It was I think it was called, like, oh fuck, man, I can't think of it. They were like Irreductibles or something. with some fucking band, like, and you were like, I think you thought they were Mexican, but they're actually from Spain. But they were like some super fucking prideful RAC band you were showing me. I think you posted it on the based hooligan thing as like part of your story.
Was it? It was.
And like the dudes were all dressed super sharp and like Fred Perry's, and like they look like kind of Mexican. Those dudes are from Spain. It's like really good fucking RAC. All their shit's. They were called I'm looking at it right now. I downloaded it. It's Irreductibles.
Oh, okay. That must have been something I have on my Spotify.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it came out in 2015. You played the song. I believe it was either Cuna de Gueros or Los Cales. I don't speak Spanish, man.
I love all that like Spanish, Italian.
Spain fucking rules, man. They have the best looking women, and then like I don't know. Spain is a beautiful fucking place. They've got that crazy. I mean, speaking of nationalists, I think the the Basque region. Mm-hmm. I know they're like very separatist, but I'm not sure if it's a nationalist thing. Like they have their own. I think they have like a Basque. It's like a Basque Spanish. I don't know. I have to do some research on it, but like Spain is one of those countries that's very very interesting. You know, but
all those kind of like quasi like I love that region of the world's
Italy too, of course,
for like nationalist music because it's so catchy, and prideful. I have no idea what they're saying, but you can
feel it.
The feeling is conveyed through their songs, through their music. It's incredible. I love it.
The Italian part makes sense because of our buddy Benito. But,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, shout out Bronson. Shout out Casa Town. Shout
absolutely.
out. What is it? Zeta Zero Alpha. Love that band.
Yeah, you red pilled me on fucking Bronson big time, man.
Yeah,
I remember that.
All that like that circle of bands are incredible.
You kept posting about it. I was like, what the fuck is? And I listened to it. I was like, this is fucking gay, dude. And then you were like, no, dude. And then you broke it down for me, and I put that shit. It might have been around Thanksgiving, man. I was texting with you, and I was like, holy fucking shit, this rules, dude. Like it's really fucking good, man.
No,
and it sounds like Blink-182, but if you know what it's just all you gotta do is watch that video, you know what they're all about, you know.
Yeah, you can see the dude with the algaes tattooed on the back of his neck.
Yeah, he's chilling, and it's like sunny outside. There's just some guys playing some rock music, and there's women there.
It's very what I like about them, it is not like in your face. It's just like it's an inherent part of the music.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to. It goes back to what I was saying, man. If you have to fucking explain yourself, you come across as fake. You know what I mean? If you you're just constantly saying it, it comes across as like overly eager. Don't be fucking eager, because eagerness leads to Punisher. And that's just bad, dude. You don't want to be a Punisher, and you don't want to be overly eager. Just fucking do your thing, man. So,
just make music that speaks to you.
Yeah.
Make music in the topics that are, you know, the most relevant to your ideology, and I think that will definitely carry your sound and your message across in the most, convincing way possible without being too, like we always use that word, but eager. It's like you don't want to be, because we're not trying to convince anyone. You're just trying to explain to people, like, this is my lifestyle, this is what I believe, and come with me if you want to live, basically.
And let's clarify too, there's nothing wrong with being eager. I was eager to start this podcast. Like, I've been off my phone. I'm taking a break from my phone for the last part of the year because it's fucking distracting and it makes me feel fucking terrible and lazy, and it's a bad habit. So I've just set my phone down as much as I can, but it's like fucking drugs or cigarettes, man. I can't stop. But like, I've been eager to do this podcast, but it's overly eager. If I was blowing you up like, hey, we're like, can't wait for the absurd thing. Can't wait for the absurd. It's not like that. Do it and be honest, and it'll come through. If it's worth, if you're worth your salt, It'll come across honest, and that goes with anything. It goes with being any type of expression, painting, art of any kind, like music. It'll come across honest if you keep it honest, and that's what's so great about Absurd. Like those dudes, I wanted to talk about in Ketten because I think that is simply an extension. That gives me the same vibe as Factilla Quintur. It could almost be like a bonus disc or something, because like that introduced me to Ultima Thule, and they cover 2 songs from there. They cover Misfits, which everybody likes the Misfits. You can pretend you don't, but the Misfits fucking rule. And that's
a band that's foundational to Absurd sound.
Yeah. Obviously. And but they did Morning Soul, and then that version of Morning Soul is honestly one of my favorites. Oh, absolutely. It's so fucking just prideful, and then they do like that version of Election Day. If you really get autistic about it, you can pick apart their versions of these songs. They change some of the lyrics around and make them their own. And then like that election, I love Election Day. Like that fucking song rules. It rules when Ultima Thule did it, but like when Ketten did it, it sounds fucking brilliant. And they were literally in fucking prison when they recorded that. I mean, that's sick. What the name means, In Chains. In Chains, yeah. Yeah, and what a cool fucking name for a band, dude. And then they've got the guy that was only on that. He's credited as fellow inmate. Like that's how he's done. And like the only picture is the cover of the one on him, and the guy he played keyboards
of them playing the set. Is there any footage of them playing from that time?
I doubt it, because you got to think it's in a. Not only is it in a jail, but it's a juvenile jail, and even though it's Germany, a different country, I'm sure there were laws protecting juveniles, like from being filmed, and
right.
You shouldn't be filming people that are underage. Even if they're in their teens, but especially if you're in jail. But like, they had a setup. So I mean, we've talked about this.
Yeah, it was probably some youth program that they were a part of in there, and then they ended up producing an important piece of art.
Yeah, I mean that song, awesome. that song Verlassen, like it was recorded in that session, but it's on that 7-inch. It's on the split 7-inch. What is it with Totenberg? That track, and that's a weird fucking song. You could tell the keyboard that fellow inmate wrote that one, because it's mostly keyboard.
It's not.
It sounds like a goth song almost, like a Christmas goth song. It's got those crazy bells, or that bell sound. And what was that? Was that on the? Yeah, that's got that track. They put In des Mondes Blut dem Schein, sorry for butchering that, and Verlassen on there. And that track, I always forget In the Moon's Blood Glow. Like, that's the best song. And that's on the 7-inch with Heldentum. Not Totenberg, but Heldentum. And I guess Verlassen translates to the word leave, like Leave. It sounds cooler in German, but have you ever read the lyrics of that song?
No, I haven't.
There's a version of I think it's the one that Galal put out. What's Galal's label? Fucking
Sinistari.
His version, his version of
Welton Fiend, I think, is the actual label.
Well, yeah, Welton Fiend is Unhold, right? And then Sinistrari. Sinistrari's been around for a long time, but I think he's working with Unhold. But like his version of was it Asgarge? Sorry, I'm gonna fucking. I know this isn't what we're covering, but where'd it go? I think it's there. His version of it is the Welton Fiend version of Facta. Has the lyrics, if I'm not mistaken, and the CD version I have does, And yeah, it's got a really, really nice layout, and it's got the lyrics. But the lyrics, it has them in English and German. It has the translation, and the lyrics for that. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it was recorded in that same era. But those lyrics are really fucked up, and they are way better as far as talent goes. Like, whoever was writing the lyrics, or maybe someone else is doing it, is doing a better job. They're not as clunky as the early stuff, and some of the stuff like songs like Deep Dark Forest, like, that's really basic stuff. But when you read the lyrics to the other songs, like they're really well thought out, and they're pretty fucked up. So I mean, which goes back to what we're saying, like, yes, they killed that kid and it's fucked up, but the darkness there is real. You know what I mean? Like, it's honest. You know, they weren't trying. They may have been trying to be extreme when they killed that kid, and it is fucked up, but they walk the walk, you know, they talk the talk. So, I mean, you have to respect them. No matter how fucked up that sounds, if you're going to be true to what you're doing, at least do all the way. And no matter what you feel about Absurd, they fucking they took it as far as they could, you know, literally. So
yeah, at the very beginning of the band.
Yeah, at the start. Yeah, let's get this shit kicked off right. I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. He sucks. He's a Punisher. No, now we got this band. I mean, it's really fucked up, you know. But, you know, art imitates life, or whatever that saying is.
Yeah, and then to literally put the kids'
yeah, that's the most
on a cover.
It's so insane. Like to take yourself out of black metal for a minute, and think of reality. Like, can you imagine what that kid's fucking parents think of that?
Oh, I know.
Like, that's fucked up, man. Like yeah, you get this, you know, you're in the glaze of, like, internet, everybody's, like, you know, just kind of jaded, but, like, think about that, man. This kid was murdered, and they essentially capitalized on his death by putting it on there, and now people everywhere love it, you know. So I don't know, man. It's pretty fucking extreme. I mean, if you're gonna say extreme metal, that's about as extreme as it gets.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, is that people always bring up, like, Dawn of the Blackhearts. You know, that's a iconic cover, but I feel like no one brings up, or at least in the black metal pantheon, it's kind of forgotten that Absurd did the same thing, if not more extreme.
Oh, it was definitely more extreme. I mean, that's a really fucked up picture on the cover of Dawn of the Blackhearts. But, like, you know, Euronymous did that because he was saying, like, I want to be the most extreme. I want to be, you know, he took no part in that action, though. Yeah, exactly. He wanted to capitalize on it.
Those guys literally murdered that kid.
Yeah. He didn't kill Dead. Dead was fucked up. You know, he was depressed and he took his own life. And then Euronymous saw it and said, "Oh my god, I can fucking make a dollar." And he, like, took a picture of it and put it on the thing. He's like, "Look how extreme we are." And we have this shitty live album. It's a live album, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I fucking hate live albums. I mean,
technically it's a bootleg.
Yeah, it is, but we all know who did it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's sad. But is there anything? I feel like we've talked a lot about Absurd tonight, but is there anything else you want to explore in this first episode? Because there's got to be more. We have to cover, like, after prison. Oh
yeah, so this is the first part of our Absurd series. We can break it up with other topics in between, but I think this was a good first primer for our thoughts on Absurd, on the genre, kind of how we want to discuss black metal in general, because I think there's not a lot of there's people that can talk about the music, but there's not a lot of discussion on the overall scene that it kind of spawned. You know, and I think that's one of the more interesting aspects of black metal, is that you have all these people, all these scenes, these labels that have basically been have spawned from this, let's call it, like, you know, there's a handful of releases that everyone looks to for inspiration, you know.
Yeah.
And Absurd, all their demos Out of the Dungeon, etc. They have like a handful of demos that precede that, but the most important work that comes out of this era is the Inketten stuff, Out of the Dungeon, and then Vakhtala Kunter. Those are the seminal releases, I would say, that, you know, most people who are serious about black metal are either, you know, well aware of, well informed on, or at least are aware of them and their impact. And they're very important records, and I think they kind of get over, at least Absurd's the Vakhtala Kunter record. A lot of people, you know, appreciate it, but I think it kind of gets overlooked in terms of foundational black metal records, because it absolutely is.
Because I think that even if you don't like it and you've heard it, you at least have an opinion on it. You know what I mean? It's not even one of those albums you could be like, well, it's okay. You know, no one is just okay with that. You either love it or you hate it. You know what I mean? You can have those opinions probably on the newer stuff, but like that album is so important. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It was like, it's obviously like a culmination. It's the pinnacle of that era for them. You know, it was what they were working towards. You know, I mean, at least I'm. That's how I see it. You know, it's so well done and it's so well executed and everything about it. I mean, the cover's kind of generic, like that's an old painting, but it's still perfect because it's part of that legacy now. But yeah, I think even people that, like I said, that don't like it, you at least have an opinion, because because it's such an important album, they've at least stopped and listened to it and given it a chance. You know, because it's one of those things, one of those albums. If you're a newcomer to the genre, you're gonna eventually come across that band and that album. Someone's gonna say like, well, yeah, what's up with that band Absurd? It's like, well, they're this and this, and they have these views, but if you want to know what they sound like, check out Facta, because that album is incredible. You know, it's like you said, it's one of those stepping stones. It's a pinnacle album. It's essential in the pantheon of black metal, I think. So, because it's different. It doesn't sound like anything else. It doesn't sound like black metal. So, to me, I mean, that's probably why I hated it first.
It exists within black metal, but it's also not really a black metal. It has like it doesn't have blast beats.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't.
Thank
really,
God.
It doesn't really have like the black metal vocals.
Yeah.
But it exists as a seminal record within black metal. So I think that's something that's fascinating, because
Absolutely.
black metal essentially it's a spirit.
Yeah.
It's something that you can't really quantify, or you can kind of boil it down to a few elements if you want to make generic black metal. But if you want to make truly important and significant art that's going to be remembered, this is kind of a foundational text to how to do that, you know?
Yeah, spirit's a good word. That's got the spirit. If you've got the spirit, then you can tell, like in anything you do. If the spirit's there, and it's definitely there with that. Now, as far as going forward with this, I don't know. Like you said, we might go to a different topic or continue with this. People will probably tell us, because like we had already talked about doing this before we even posted the first one, the Prime episode, and people were just like, you should definitely do an Absurd one. And like more than one person said that. I think we're glad that you guys are into that idea. But I'm not sure if we should wait or we should go. It might be a little too much, because Jesus Christ, dude, we've gone over like 2.5 hours talking about this fucking album. We may break it up, but we'll see what happens. You know.
Yeah, we can break it up. We can. So this is going to be like, obviously we can go into the the 2000s era Absurd, the post prison releases, and then we can get into the whole split controversy, which there are, I guess, technically 3 different versions of Absurd, because we have
really?
We have, well, there's Wolf's the Der Tod und Langschnicht, which is technically, I've always considered that the 3rd unofficial version of Absurd, because when you listen to it, it's, I don't know if you've listened to that, but it's literally just
it's better than the new Absurd.
Exactly, exactly.
It is.
So there's 3 different types of bands that are using the absurd, at least the original spirit of absurd.
Yeah.
So we can discuss that. We can talk about that. We can get into the Galal, Unhold, absurd. We can get into the whole split controversy. That's something that I think is a topic that has a ton of stuff that we can dive into and kind of dissect. There's a lot of nuances and opinions that go along with that. Just me personally speaking, I've listened to all the new absurd stuff, and I'm an equal opportunity absurd guy. I like all of it. So even the JFN where he has the people, what is it? It's referred to as mercenaries hired to play the instrumentation. The one with the what's the one with the Antichrist Kramer album art? I actually like that record.
Well, he's done a few different ones, but like,
it's the newer one that came out.
Yeah, it's so bad, man.
I liked it. I
mean, it's fine that you like it, but it's just I don't know. I'll tell you why. I'm not just gonna say it's not a personal thing with anybody. The reason I don't like it is because it's too clean. It's too clean. It's too musical. It's too straightforward. We'll get into that when it gets to it. But yeah, I'm not sure if we should immediately follow this up with the other absurd. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm all game for it. But we'll see what happens. It'll definitely be interesting. So
you know what I think we should cover next, and multiple people have reached out to me about this, is a history of Grand Blyle's Key.
Hey, there you go. There we go. That's a good one. Maybe we'll do that next.
So
and then that speaks to me because it's fucking U.S. black metal. It's like the U.S. black metal band, like one of the best. So
yeah, they're I would say they're my favorite band of all time. So
yeah, I can see that. I mean, they're fucking fantastic, man. So
we'll get into the history of GBK. We'll get into their impact on the scene, both in the 90s, the 2000s, and present day. I think that could be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, it's another band like Absurd that has, their twists and turns, and people have their opinions, but they've always remained important, now more than ever, even though they're bigger. Like, that's the thing, is they've gotten big, but like they haven't fucking, they never bent the knee. So it just so happens that they're involved with the band we're talking about now, Absurd. So it might be a good breather for between Absurd episodes.
So yeah, eventually we'll cover the remainder of Absurd's career. There's a ton to go into. There's a bunch of cool lore that we can explore. That's not necessarily widespread knowledge that I think both you and I can kind of speak to in terms of just how they've become this big important band in the scene, which I think it can be cool for people to hear. So
are we talking GBK or Absurd?
Absurd.
Okay, all right.
But also GBK.
Yeah, but yes, definitely Absurd. That sounds like a plan to me. So but yeah, we appreciate people. This is a rare positive note, but we appreciate the people that took the time to listen to the first episode. We just came out of nowhere, so it was nice, and it's good to hear the feedback. And it's gonna be a new year. Well, it is already the new year for a lot of people, but going into the new year, it's gonna fucking suck. The new year is gonna suck, but the only thing I'm looking forward to is probably this podcast as far as metal goes.
Oh yeah. So I think we're the whole idea of this podcast is to not necessarily talk about, because anyone can review music, we did a fair bit of that, but I think talking about the when you take like a eagle-eye view of, okay, so how did people react to this? What was the scene like in the era that it was released? What was its overall impact in the years beyond whatever? I think that's always what's fascinated me about metal specifically, is that it's not just one and done. People, like, when you look at like hip hop or like electronic music or whatever, people are very focused on in the now, like stuff that is released currently. That's the only thing that has any sort of cultural relevance. But with metal, it's the exact opposite. Most people are looking to records that came out, 30 years ago in terms of seminal releases. That's what people focus on. That's what people hyper fixate on discussions in terms of, like, whether it be forums, whether it be meme pages, whether it be YouTube videos, whatever. That's what people are obsessed with is the old. So I think within that, what we want to do is kind of highlight, okay, how did people take this music and basically run with it, create scenes, create labels, create their own subgenres, and use these specific records and bands as references.
And then why are we all obsessed now? That's the thing. Like, how did this all come to be? It'll be interesting. So with that, it's nearly 3 hours. I'm fucking tired, but yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to the next one. It's going to be good. And the new year, it's going to be intense. So we appreciate you listening. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, no, okay, so thank you for listening. This is Based Hooligan Podcast, the official first episode. We will drop our second one within the next couple weeks once me and Rune feel up to it. So thank you in the meantime, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I know he doesn't want me to
don't
say
fucking
that.
say that shit, man. They're going to do it if they like it. No, man.
Actually, no. Fuck you. Don't subscribe. Don't follow us. We don't care. We don't give a shit. We really don't. But if you want to, like, keep up with what we're doing, then that's
okay. To be fair, we have talked about this, and we're gonna try to do one. It's been exactly 2 weeks since we recorded the first one, the Prime episode. So about every other week is good, and we'll try to post it a couple of days after we record it. So I think that's fair, to at least tell people, like, so they don't have to, like, because I don't subscribe to fucking I hate YouTube. I fucking hate YouTube. I have everything turned off, everything blocked, no notifications. When I think about it, I go check on things. So if you want to keep up with it, it's a good way to do it. But it should be every couple of weeks, every other week. We don't want to oversaturate everything, because then we just turn into styro. So, and that's
we're anti-styro.
Yeah, anti-progress and anti-styro. So, all right. So next time it'll either be absurd, but most likely GBK.
Hell yeah! All right, man.
All right, see ya.
Was unacceptable, but our Where is the Savior? Where lies Jesus? Why